on here if they need to go for the retake. Searching out John QT though, yeah.
Look at Hero's position. He knows there's a chance of this. A was left completely open. Hero taking a couple of glances towards it, over towards that spawn side. You can see Sentinels cautious in approach. They don't quite know where Fnatic have gone, and this flank is on the way. So a flank on a flank pretty much here. You got to expect the timing to be right from John QT.
Hero
Darcy gonna know at least one. He now knows there's two, but the trade is there for Alpha.
Hero.
This can get turned on its head. Hero reads it well, and now Zellsis in a 1v3. It's only Sheriffs, but how much can one man do? He's got a player to the right, one to the left. The defuse will be beginning in about a second. You take your eye off the prize, and they'll punish you for it. Another opportunity. Two for Zellsis, maybe a third. No, Hero makes his appearance known. Defuse for the ult for Chronicle. And the scoreline gets held away for now.
Both these teams doing such big gambles on both sides. Here, Fnatic, they choose to do this 4-man D full retake A setup. It's not the first time they've done it, but here they've got the stun, the dart ready, and they're going to fight inside of B main, catching Sentinels. They had Sheriffs only, and a classic. These rounds, these reads, everyone's in each other's minds right now.
Yeah, I love that between Hero and John QT then kind of circling each other. And you saw the awareness
sorry guys,
from
I thought you were fighting with me. I meant
okay,
I mean, got it in the end.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
he did. Wild stuff. We're not out of the woods.
As soon as Fnatic gets that win off that 4B gamble stack, they switch it up. They're in a 4A gamble stack. They got the camera and the trips on Boaster on A, but we haven't seen the side from them yet before. Chronicle also has that Hunter's Fury, and he could pop this in the back if he wants.
Let's see. Sassi's cleared through. There's no one currently in market. They know the site is absent of players. Plant might be questioned, but for now, they hold the site and they're staying on the site. Sentinel's not falling back towards B main. They're looking like they want to get in here. Ten's trying to tee him up. Paralyze goes through. Bosa tries to back away, but he's caught. He is absolutely sunk. Second leading the charge, and now the rest of Fnatic want to avenge their IGL. You gotta look at the flank here as well, you're right. Zellsis gonna be put on notice, catches him. Notes Durka, Paint Shell goes in and Zellsis leans forward, but it's Durka and Chronicle in unison, dropping bodies. Darcy holding the back from the market, trying to play to the time perfectly, and they're doing everything they can. But a 1v2 for Alpha, he may not have the time for this. I think it's gone, I think it's too late. Sentinels back up within touching distance now.
These rounds are just so back and forth. In their faces. I thought Sentinels was going to get that one for free as well once they got on that B site, extending to spawn with that Thrash, but somehow Fnatic from multiple different angles, a three-prong attack, they're coming in for that retake, and they're hidden back hard. Still, almost tied up game. Fnatic, they're taking another timeout here. This is the last one gone for them. So many ultimates for them.
And I kind of like that they're pumping the brakes here, because similar situation on the other side, not quite as, I guess, instigating ults. You've got the TP for 10s, the hat for John QT.
Yeah.
But they do have Zellsis, so you know the KO ult could be used as a nice springboard forward. But on the other side, some very impactful ultimates coming into cycle. So this could be a set piece potentially for Fnatic, or just a check-in of what they've seen so far.
This is where it gets very unpredictable. And,
yeah.
you know, I've cited it a couple times, but the way that you can use these ultimates, there's different ways you can use it to execute on a site. So if you're Zellsis with that KO ultimate, you can do it the way that Fnatic's been setting up these 4-player gamble stacks. It turns off all their abilities. It's just guns out at that point. Or you can save it and use it to cancel out that Showstopper, that Hunter's Fury, if Fnatic try to use that on a retake. So figuring out what you want to do, how you're going to use these ultimates. Are you going to use it to initiate? Are you going to save any, knowing that it's going to probably stimulate the other team to make a reaction, a response to whatever you're doing? And Fnatic right now, trying to get a handle of the situation. We've seen them not really do their normal game plan. They're switching it up. They're doing these 4-man gamble stacks, constantly re-clearing middle. And Sentinels, they've been pacey towards B a lot.
They have been. And Sentinels currently are 4-1 on this half, picking up the pistol, converting the bonus, just getting that one back.
Right here.
It is game on. Let's see what Sentinels decide to do this round. Chronicle going to get the information early towards A, but they're going for a bit of a heavier presence towards B. You're looking at Alpha, you're looking at Durka and Hero on the back line by Pillar. And Sentinel's going to go through the protocol list. It's actually going to be a huge investment. Durka takes away Zeka, but how much more can he do? Ten's taking a little bit of splash damage, it looks like, and Sarsi going to lose his life. They've invested everything they had to that opening.
Those 2 kills are huge. They need to be able to close this out. John QT, that would have been a huge find if he was able to get it on Boaster. But 3 players from Sentinels coming over to this A-side. Boaster is all alone. He needs to find a way to get out. He needs to live. His teammates are so far away.
Surely it's too late. He can only hold towards that elbow position. John QT trying to close the gap, get a bit closer. Takes a step over. The trap in play, trying to isolate Boaster here. He's been seen, he's been noted, he's buying time. But it takes time. The rotation on the way. And Chronicle right nearby. He might team himself up for the trade. Ten's left out to dry. No one there to back him up until then. 2 big picks. John QT and Zelsis take away the players trying to pressure that plant, but it got into play. So Zelsis and John QT still need to stand together. It is a 2v3. Numbers on towards Fnatic's side. Zelsis feeling the pressure on the site. You can see the crossfire in play here. As best they can. Zelsis going to get the contact from all 3. Can he divide? Can he conquer? Spots them getting closer. He knows it. He hears it. It's John QT to his side. But Darker succeeds. And now John QT on 39 needs to clutch and he can't. Fnatic make it up to 10. Sentinels held on 8. The scoreline finally pulling away.
Fnatic finding their groove again. That was so scary for Boaster on an island for so long. Such a big ultimate investment to get those first 2 kills, to get that opening. You should be converting those rounds pretty much like 90% of the time pretty much, but the fact that it got as close as it did makes me nervous for what happens. No. Oh no, the stand-up curse, the stand-up curse.
Glue him to the chair.
It's fine, because if Sentinels wins a round, Zelsis probably stands up, it evens out.
It's not fine. I'm telling you now, it's not fine. Oh lord, it's a rifle with Zekken and a sheriff with 10s. But why? Why do I feel like this is the one? The curse begins. Let's see what damage they can do all together. 3-2 split towards A. Chronicle stands in his way. Right, big info, flank en route. But if he goes down, the floodgates open. They have a safe cross towards the site, so Wingman probably going to get the plant now.
The early flank is coming out for the defense. And all the smokes are gone for the attackers. They're not going to have another one for about 15 seconds or so.
But this is the man. Zekken, 10s, these 2. Paranoia primed. He gets it right. That's a lot of blind
They have
players.
Care Ultimate as well to stall everything out if they want it.
Paranoia is perfect. Zekken can only get 1 though so far, but 10s falls for it. It's fine. It's a 4v4. Time beginning to tick. The backline pressured. Hero, this should be called out. They've got to know he's here. Zekken waits in the smoke and he strikes. This is the round. Is this how it happens? The curse potentially coming into play, but a 3v3 and Fnatic shut it down. 11 for Fnatic. Diffuses there.
If you're gonna stand up, at least deliver at the end there. Alpha with 3 big kills, not letting it happen again, not again. He learned his lesson. And if you're gonna be the one to stand up, at least you gotta put the other team down.
That was 1 rifle and 1 sheriff. Right? That's the simplicity of it, and it felt so competitive. Alpha really clean. Yeah, he made sure he locked that in.
Bro. I just saw the last flex on rifle.
Chronicle also stood up, I'm pretty sure, in that situation, so.
Chronicle can do what he wants. Let's be honest, he can do what he wants. Now, Sentinels have felt enough here. These are, excluding that 17th round, these have been the Fnatic run back, right? That could have been 4 consecutive, it wasn't. It's now just 2. But it's been enough of a red flag, right? The game's getting far too far away from them to pump in the brakes. They've got ults here. Josh, what do they come up with? They've got to buy. This has to be a big, big investment, and it's got to work.
You say red flag. Sentinels takes the timeout. Is that meaning Sentinels around in here? They have their ultimates. When we look at the rounds, a couple of rounds ago, Fnatic dumped 3 ultimates to find the early 2 picks, make it into a 2 versus 1 where they win the round. Now Sentinels, they have a couple ultimates of their own. They're really close to a Thrash as well. They could definitely combo some ultimates, get back into the game here. They just had to sit on these ults for another round as they did in Eco, but Fnatic is in a really good position to potentially close out the game soon here. Boaster has that Astral Divide, so I'm wondering if they're more fine to defend that A site or middle and go for that retake on B, but Sentinels realizes if Fnatic's not playing the site, we're pushing spawn. And I wonder if Fnatic has clued into that. It doesn't matter though, it looks like Fnatic is trying to set up that B defense again here. It's worked for them before. Sentinels eyeing up middle for the first time.
That would be probably the remit of more, I guess, Alpha. And you can already see the adjustment coming from Chronicle 2, so maybe try and keep tabs on that.
I think Durka snuck in here before the camera went up, and John QT will not be the wiser.
Oh God.
It's all on that trigger discipline to line them all up.
The timing.
3 spotted at middle.
Big info. Alpha now under scrutiny, but
Durka!
oh, John QT, the savior of that moment. A missed shot, and now Sentinels start the ball rolling. The B site is open, it's available. Hero trying to hinder. Catching one on the cross, can't land it, John QT does. Setting them up for success. And a plant that he had, and if you're Fnatic, you're pulling the plug, surely. That was perfect from Sen.
A couple of the players on Fnatic have a little bit of cash reserves, but we're also looking at Hero, who's down to 100 credits, so a likely save. They're in the lead. Only one big ultimate used there from Zelsis. They still keep Zekin's Showstopper for another day. And Chronicle, not really involved in some of these fights.
I mean, the pacing Sentinels took through mid. How are you meant to? His Aldrone seemed well-timed, but by that point, they were in market, basically. He caught, 3 of them moving that way, but by that point, the timing on the crunch, I guess it felt like he was dependent on Durka, pretty much. If he succeeds towards main, maybe they can
He was set up perfectly for it.
And he missed.
He missed. Sometimes
that's
just how it goes.
John QT,
You can have the perfect, you can have the perfect setup, but if you aren't able to capitalize on the position you've been given, the blessing, that's it. It falls apart so easily. Fnatic, I want to see them change up their setup though. They've been running the same kind of B defense, jamming them in B main a few different times here, and it's worked. It's given them what they wanted, but we saw it in the last half as well. Around 7 or 8 rounds into the game, Fnatic did switch it up and started changing the pace, started baking in that misdirection. I wonder if we're going to see a switch up from Fnatic on their defense, or even Sentinels. They've been going really quick. That first 40 seconds, they're in the site. It's usually been towards B here. But a little bit of a fake opening towards A lot of information given. They have that camera.
The third man.
Yep. And right now, Fnatic is defending towards that A side. They're putting Hero back on B. We haven't seen him towards B defending since maybe even Pistol around this game. He's usually so good at this, getting 2 kills, getting out with his life. But here he backs out, doesn't want to go against these ultimates, but so much space taken, and they're going to keep going. Sentinels, they have that Showstopper, it's still active. The Thrash, they need to recover it.
Now, they're going to know that they've taken over CT space. It's all through market, pretty much. Maybe an eventual flank from Chronicle, but Fnatic have to take some more space back in. They can't just flood through market.
It's going to be hard, though. Sentinels playing forwards. They know this Astral Divide's in play.
Yeah, staying on the site here. Paranoia ready. 10 sends it and then backs. They're just not getting in the door here. Sentinels shutting it in their face. Now it is go time. Zelsis sent to his death. Forced to fight forward. Sassy now leaning back, but time is ticking. You gotta get a move on here. Sentinel's gonna lap this up, but the trade's in play. Sassy still stands, as does John QT, and the time is ticking. They are out of time, surely. No more to be done here. No more time to play. Sentinel's running it down to the wire.
And Sentinels taking that round from under the noses of Fnatic, and Fnatic just way too slow, couldn't find an opening into that round. They had an idea of what they wanted to do, but so much pressure put on them from that Thrash, from that Showstopper, and then the Paranoia, and then they back out to the next angle. They don't back all the way into B main. They know that's a round loss for them. So they back out, just back into the site, get this crossfire going, and another chaotic situation. I am surprised that Astral Divide was used in that situation with that much time left.
Yes, that is a big burn up of an ult, but I have to give credit again. In a round they needed that the timeout was potentially built for, you've got John QT leading by example. One exceptional IGL, 21-11. Again, conceptually, that fate coming into play, it pulling that third body across. Fnatic too late to the party on B. Absolute maestro of the downfall of Fnatic in that round. However, still in the lead overall, Boaster really pressured in that. And we've got pressure on 2 fronts, really. Oh, but Zelsis deals with Durka. Sends him away and falls off this.
A minute to play with, a 5 versus 4. And a good read, understanding exactly how Fnatic's trying to do this push and pull every time they're trying to take B main and re-aggress into their Sentinels, waiting, ready to punish that. Now another retake potentially for Fnatic, this time in a 4 versus 5.
A little uncomfy there, but all good. Should be able to get the plant now. They're looking at what they've got for the retake. Bulldog.
Spike planted.
Still there for Boaster. SMG for Chronicle.
They have that dart that can smoke off elbow, aftershock out that default box. This is doable for Fnatic. It needs to be perfect though. Boaster trying to take that timing in.
Actually, he's gone in the door. Zekken sends him away, though, and now they're struggling, now they're capitulating, now they're falling to pieces. Sentinels coming together when it matters most. 11 potentially now. Destined to be a close game between these two. Chronicle can do nothing, really. Yeah, he might find one, but unless they completely leave the site, it means nothing. Take a couple bodies, sure. Make it hurt. But the real gut punch of it all for Fnatic will be that it's 11-11 Sentinels back in this. And watching John QT is like watching a master at work. He has called a fantastic half for this side. And now all even, where's the game gonna go?
You asked me this, but again, the mind games that are coming out, these guys know exactly what the other team is gonna do. The preparation is there. They know exactly how they want to manipulate everything. And sometimes, even with the perfect plan, it doesn't work out. Alpha, though, those big kills, he's got his a few good ultimates here. One away from Hunter's Fury as well. Fnatic about to have really good chance to turn this around again.
But look at the money.
I mean, it's down there.
The ults, the money's in the bin for Fnatic. You got Sheriffs, you got SMGs, 2 Sheriffs.
Doesn't matter, I saw them win with Classics.
On the other side, Sentinels strength after strength here. Zelsis knows, he's baiting this out. It's so well done. Sentinels, again, correct read, finger on the pulse.
Cage triggered.
Alpha still has that rolling thunder, and if they do this 3-man flank all the way through, they can actually catch Sentinels in a really precarious position here. Tonight backing all the way out, holding from a passive spawn angle, waiting for Sentinels to extend all the way through. But still, I look at, you're right, the Sheriffs, the Spectre, not the greatest weapons. It's all on Dirk and Alpha to find these big openings. Showstopper already wasted. Sentinels looking for that opportunity to jab through the smoke. Counter util ready. That's Alpha affected. No stun, no flash. The time is ticking.
Fnatic running this incredibly low. Again, the ult. Okay, it's going to be down to the wire, but Ten's unaffected. Maybe his moment to shine, but forced away. 24 HP, he leans forward, and he just brushes his shoulders. What? He still gets the body for the time. Keep in mind the clock is ticking, and it's ticking fast. John QT forced away. Zelsis fights back, and Sentinels make it up to 12.
Sentinels, 12 rounds on their map pick. Starting the half, 4-8, they were down. They get those first 3 rounds in a row. They start climbing it back round by round. It's not pretty every round, but they get there in the end. Now, map point for them. Fnatic, they're going to be able to string together some sort of buy going on here, but Sentinels is full control of the game. They know exactly how Fnatic wants to respond to some of these situations, baiting out perfectly. Durka to push through B main. It's not working for Fnatic, and they need to switch it up if they want to be able to stay in this game.
Down to the wire. OT on map 1 in the hands of Sentinels.
Right here.
Chronicle with the ult.
Take flight.
On the other side, Ten still has his, but nowhere near as influential. And the Owl drone, does it catch a pixel? Absolutely not. Not going to see what he wants this time.
Not ready yet.
It's a very early reclear. And if he's alone here, it's going to be dangerous for him to pop out. Oh, he's just going to do a blind.
Oh my god, it could be devastating, but he doesn't catch.
No.
Just about
Just a
caught
tag.
Zekken. How much does that tell them? And then it falls into the one man's hands who could be the threat, who could be the downfall. How diligent are they? It doesn't matter, he still gets one.
Big shot.
Oh, Chronicle, where was that? Out of nowhere, catching Sassy on the shock dart. And suddenly, they're left in pieces, fractured on the way forward. Tens, John QT and Zelsis, you talk about impact players. You got them in this, though.
I'm looking at Tenz's ultimate. On a round like this is where you want to try to find your footing into a site and pop that ultimate if you need it back out. Right now, Zelsis is trying to figure out how he can disrupt this retake, the rotations, but deciding to move together here. John QT versus Hero is going to be a big duel towards B, but it's a defense on market. They don't care about the site.
First fight, Ten's trying to lead the fray. John QT, Ten's back-to-back impact. TP to the site, plant up next, and suddenly the record is flipped. And now you're down to Alpha and Chronicle. Again, impact sure, but in a moment like this, can you pull it through? Zelsis hops away, he keeps himself alive. Information aplenty, they now know what they're up against. And Tenz's timing could be heaven sent. But no, they skip around, they go towards site. One towards main, one on pillar, one CT. hard to find fair fights, and John QT prowling, waiting. Chronicle finds Zelsis, but the time is ticking, and TenZ is on the way. The camera comes up, they want to get it towards half. They might just do it, but TenZ, the bully of the big boys, afraid of no one, shuts out map 1, 13-11. Sentinels lead in the series.
TenZ, such a slow start to the game, is able to close it out with a 2K in the back, and Sentinels looking for a moment there, like it was a questionable pick for them to go into Sunset, and suddenly they turn it around, close it out.
Okay, Bind up next. Do not miss this.
I'm now joined by Coach Kaplan. Congratulations on the win. I want to ask you, you changed the composition again literally overnight. It got very close. Did it achieve what you were looking for?
Yeah, definitely a lot of messy moments because it's an old comp that we had no time to really turn around with, but wanted a map win, got a map win. So.
Oh, you definitely cannot complain if you're a Sentinels fan. But of course, we talked about the change of Zekken going from the Neon back on the race. So let's take a look at the Verizon high-speed moment, because doesn't matter what agent he's on, he still got it.
Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely pivotal to getting them back into the game. It's not his biggest fragging performance of all time, but when he came out here on the pistol and he delivers, and so many of these moments the Sen players were asked to deliver in unadvantaged spots, Zekken was good for it a lot of times, and then he got up all of these ult points that they then used to move forward into round 15. The snowball that they were able to accrue was a big problem for Fnatic. and ended up with an extremely tense final few moments of the match.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he gave them the window of opportunity to buy time, essentially, the buffer rounds with the pistol round win, the bonus round conversion to keep the momentum going. And like you said, it gave them time to adapt to what Fnatic were throwing at them towards the tail end, because Fnatic were in control for various portions and parts of that entire map.
Yeah, let's talk about that second bonus, because both of the teams somehow won the bonus they weren't supposed to win.
Yeah, dude, go ahead, Josh.
Well, first of all, the first thing I want to look at is, you look down at the timeline, we went the distance, but also look at this, both teams allowing each other to plant almost every single time, only one round in the game where the plant was denied.
Yeah.
The rest of the time was all retake scenarios, some of them favored, and look at the first kill differential too. Ridiculous.
And this is the bonus round that got sent back into it that we were talking about with the momentum behind it. With Zekken, you know, keeping the ball rolling, getting that ult online. TenZ is hitting. At this point, he had one kill at some point in this game.
He finished the half with only 2 kills, and he had to turn it around, and that's what he does in the bonus.
Yeah, and so just all that momentum moves it forwards, gives them the buffer room as well, because Fnatic had moments where they were getting back into the series towards the tail end as well. But massive credit needs to go to a player like John QT as the IGL who sailed them through treacherous seas at that point. Because listen, the adaptability, I think, of this squad is immense, and it comes from this guy's calling, and he puts up the numbers alongside it in this one. But I was so impressed. They get caught by a trap play in B main by Fnatic, offered a cam contact, they don't get caught by it again. They bait it out. They actually think about how are we going to be winning these next rounds and putting the layers in. That is so hard to do when you are in a new map, you're playing your old composition with no real preparation work, there's no anti-stratting there, it's literally just communication and making sure you have a level head even when you're down.
And I think both teams actually had to do a lot on the fly. It's not a map that's towards the top of Fnatic's pool, and they got 15 first kills, only able to convert 9 of those. That's a little rough to begin with. Fnatic need to be closing those out. But you give them a little bit of credit because it was a comp that they weren't anticipating, and it was a little sloppy at times, and it was them actually coming up with better early round ideas. They just need to be able to have that consistency to close things out. I'm looking towards people like Boaster and Hero, who started the map phenomenally. Great performances, but looked like they just tailed off towards the end a little.
I mean, how much can Sentinels learn from yesterday's experience as well? They look great on map 1 Sideshow, but they ultimately could not close it out.
Yeah, and I think that is still a massive danger as we look forward to the rest of the series, because they've navigated the first hurdle. Their own map selection.
Yeah, Sunset was a necessary win, I think, personally.
Yeah.
It needed to be that first hurdle cleared. If they didn't win on Sunset, I don't have them as favorites on that bind map. I think Fnatic have looked shaky on bind over the course of this tournament, but the trouble is they're still winning on it, and their looks are pretty good.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say they look shaky in the game against G2. That was wonderful bind play. So if they can keep that level up, I think they might just end up smoking Sentinels here. The problem is that's to do with form, and we don't know how that's going to be on any given day.
Well, let's hear what Coach Elmer Putty had to say ahead of map 2.
I'm here joined by Coach Elmer Putty. You know, we've seen you play bind before, but you haven't picked it since Shanghai yourself. What makes you feel like you're strong enough to take Sentinels on this map?
I think G2 are the best North American bind team. We beat them the other day, so we're feeling good.
Okay, that's pretty concise. Let's see if they can do it.
Not wrong.
No, I agree with him completely, and that's why I've got so much confidence in Fnatic heading into this. But I think, again, some of that is to do with form, some of that's to do with the way that G2 like to play. And even then, it took some outrageous, like, will stick in your memory for the longest time kind of moments. But when you have players on the server, Boaster's always loved this map. Chronicle, I think it was Mitch or Tom crowned him bind royalty, which I agree completely with. And then you get Durka on his raise. Everything seems like it should make sense for Fnatic to come back here strong.
I just hope the mental, though, Brent, is there, because losing that Sunset in the fashion that they did is tough.
And that's exactly what Boaster was saying in the Arrival interview. He said that sometimes it's our mentality holding us back as a team in this tournament, which surprised me to a degree, I think, as well, because they do have an incredible amount of veteran presence on the roster. Hero's the only real newcomer to this spot. You'd think they would be able to, you know, bail themselves out of the bin when the mental gets there, just from that experience that they've had. They know that they're world-class quality players overall, and I think they should have confidence coming into bind. Their preparation, the looks and depth that they have on the defense half in particular, I'm dead impressed with. They alternate and change up pistol round strategies based on the opponents they play against. They're not a team that you can hard anti in that capacity as well.
And this is the other thing, Sentinels, they played Sunset yesterday, so you can't help but assume that maybe Elmer and Minnie, they were watching, they were coming up with stuff, but the bind, it wasn't there. So this is a more prep work for them.
Absolutely it is. but I think they can be confident in the fact that Sentinels do not like playing this map.
Yeah.
They haven't played it for a while. Like, if you wind the clock back, they had a Yoru Raze comp that they used to love playing here. It was kind of one of their best maps at the very beginning of the year, and that's faded away as we've seen more teams go towards that Gecko Fade composition. Fnatic themselves picking that up instead of running Alpha Year on the Cypher. So I'm expecting to see a mirror in terms of the comps, and then it just comes down to execution.
Well, let's take a look and see if we're going to get any more changes. And Bren, they're both going to stick to what they ran before.
Yeah, and I'm going to be, again, paying close attention, I think, to the pistol round opening up for Fnatic, because against G2, they went for a nice little contact push. I think it was 3 players down A short, but against other teams as well, they prioritize, and in a lot of their other games, for kind of a setup of a showers crunch. They put the initiators and the Raze, the Seize Nade combo outside showers. They have the Gecko outside for the TP, so they can supplement with util. There's a lot to navigate here for your Sentinels. It's already not a favored map for them, but they have the form factor. They're going to be feeling powered up, passionate right now as well. The fact that they managed to overcome that first hurdle that was necessary for them on Sunset.
You're right, Brent. Boaster, he's the thinking man of Valorant.
He is.
He likes trying to hit the weaknesses of other comps. There's no Sentinels here, so Fnatic are going to be pushing on defense. They had a really nice Viper Wall for it on their pistol.
But there is Sentinels, so let's see if Fnatic can force a map 3, because Pansy and Steel, if they don't, they will be eliminated.
High pressure moments now. Sentinels in the lead after a 13-11 close affair on Sunset. However, as the desk was discussing, Bind not really high up in the wheelhouse of Sentinels, and these two have historically met here in much different circumstance, and what feels like a million years ago. I mean, hell, TenZ was on Reyna, so take that how you want. But it has been played before, and that was 16-14, maybe fated for another close series. But Josh, where does your mind go to now seeing this?
When I look at this, I'm looking at Fnatic to be able to hone it in. Sunset, not one of their better maps. Sentinels coming into that game, understanding that they had something prepared. Here, this is a very structured, heavy, protocol-heavy map.
4 plays stacked towards A, and a walk through shower. Dizzy to set it in motion, and they take space. Exchange on the side, those Sentinels. Sussy maybe underestimating how many were there, and Fnatic have kept so many bodies on this site. Yeah, there's no way. Sen completely stunned by this. The only maybe silver lining is that Zeken's been let loose, but the spike has been left over towards A. Maybe if he'd had that, he could have maybe snuck away, but a 1v3 with a classic in hand. I mean, not out of the realms of reality for Zeken.
They know roughly where he was. He got that kill with the paint shells. So, the reposition from Fnatic. They're moving away from showers. They're tripling up, making sure they go together. Durka, he's got paint shells. They got the spot as well.
Yeah, but it's still Zeken. A reposition and a body found.
That second kill gets him a refresh on his paint shells. He's got double satchel paint shells. The spike's not planted on his side of the box. And once Fnatic figure that out, but they need to get to it first.
Nothing short of brilliance demanded of Zeken here. A tap on the spike. And they're forced away, not achieving half. This is doable. It's not done yet. Chronicle keeps Fnatic in control here, but that very close.
Fnatic off to a good start again. Same thing that happened last game, but if I am going to learn anything from that last map of Sunset, it's that anything can happen and no round is safe to predict, because both these teams are capable with the amount of firepower on both teams that they're able to go pound for pound against each other. It really can come down either way in some of these clutch round moments. It's all about that start, getting those clean openings, that clean entry into the site. Sentinel's been walking into sites for free if Fnatic hasn't been doing these really good combos on them and getting the good read.
They're going to get a punish on this, though. Stack towards showers this time. Early test on it. And they are going to be forced to fall back here. So all collected. Zeken actually going to be really close to that showstopper very early on. Only 3 away.
We'll be there pretty soon. One thing I do need to point out on this map is, you know, we look at Alpha on a map like Sunset on Breach. He's there setting up other players. He's not involved in the action, but here on Gecko, he's going to be involved in some of these fights. We saw him get the opening last round. Chronicle getting pushed back here. The A split's coming in. The smoke's going down. The spike trying to get planted.
Yeah, Sen pressing the issue. Plant going to come in and going for the showers plant here.
Spike planted.
Chronicle, this is so dangerous.
He's going to be overwhelmed. Surely he's dead. He is. Sentinels, you got pistols and you're making mountains out of molehills, and it might just work. Trying
It's
to
the orb.
push this further though. Hero does get traded, 10 still alive. This is still a threat, this is still a problem. Zelsis finds Alpha. Durka has to pick up the pieces, but time is ticking.
Zelsis has a molly.
JohnQT, I thought he might have had that there, but is a molly gonna hit in time?
He hasn't even sent it
He
yet.
hasn't sent it through.
There's no time.
This a missed opportunity. I thought that could have been done. I genuinely thought they were in for a shot on that.
This is what happens when you switch up compositions so frequently and you play maps so infrequently as well.
Yeah.
You don't have the deep knowledge about how you
comfort
can
on the
use those
agents,
agents.
yeah.
Like when we talk about certain players on certain agents, we talk about like, oh yeah, they're on the agent, they're getting lots of kills, but do they actually know the agents inside and out? When you're switching through so many different agents, it's hard to know all the lineups across different agents for different positions. And that Brim Molly could have been a difference maker on that round.
It really could have, and he was in
It's
the right
fine,
place
boys.
for
Let's
it
go. We won the round. Good job, guys.
Doug is like, don't worry, we won it. Let's just not think how we won.
Rounds around.
Rounds around. Bonus now, feeling heavily invested behind.
Zekken won off his showstopper. That kill on Booster and Hookah could be the difference maker.
Could be.
But a trap here.
Ooh, little dizzy sent through. Just the freebie.
Boaster.
Okay, Boaster, relax a little. Just fights breaking out across the map here. This is very, very staggered throughout. But you're looking at where the spike's going over towards B long. That is the vulnerable site here. That is where they should be heading.
Smoke.
Reading it correctly, Boaster doesn't have options now. He's committed to this position.
Smart smoke positions from the attackers
Double
here.
pump.
Oh,
Love that. I mean, if they've read it well, they've heard the TP.
it's just him with the spike though. This is so dangerous for him if he gets caught out of position, but
High risk, high reward.
instead Alpha goes down.
So it's on Chronicle. So maybe buy time, make them work.
45
Make it
seconds.
not feel so easy. 40 seconds now. Boaster's trying to clear out towards that B site, but Senna on the way. Smokes
That's
coming
the last
into play.
smoke.
That's all they had, opting towards Heaven. So Chronicle now with a chance.
30 seconds
But the timing from Shower is pretty key, can't deny it. And JohnQT with the punish. Sentinels, beautiful play. High risk, high reward, and Boaster forced to save.
Not the end of the world for Team Fnatic. This was their bonus round. Not an issue at all to lose it. Sentinels, though, with 4 alive at the end of it, is a big pickup for them. Zekken as well as TenZ, they have their ultimates online for this first gun round that's going to be coming in here. And, I mean, Fnatic, they had a decent idea. They missed the timing on that Showers crunch. They had that second connection onto that Hookah crunch as well, but Sentinel staying a step ahead of it, trying to do this weird TP back to Showers, then rotate back to short. So trying to do these mind games, and Sentinels is really good at those on-the-fly adjustments. Fnatic like those pre-planned start-around actions where if they have to pivot, it's not the best. A lot of back and forth and indecision, but Sentinels looking like they know exactly what they want to do when chaos starts happening.
Yeah, they truly do thrive. It's one of those brilliant things to witness.
Yeah, I just
especially
lost
when
my
it's-
fight. I knew he was gonna be there.
Fine. I just think, I think you should just slow
Yeah.
down, is what I'm saying. I think it's fine, but I think you just slow down.
Okay. Ease up a little bit. They've got some 2 big ults as well that if they do want to leave it later in the round potentially, they can lean on those to secure the space. And I'm seeing Bucky's coming out. We've got 1 on Kron, 1 on Alpha. So trying to make something out of this purchase. Like I said, it was a very costly bonus they invested into, so suffering the consequences to that.
Another early stack for Fnatic, but they're going to peel away from this. Slow spread default from Sentinels, waiting to see what happens. Fnatic does, on a lot of maps, kind of push around, try to re-clear. We saw them pistol around as well. Through Showers, they went Alpha picking up that first kill on that push. But Sentinels, they waited long enough. They see nothing happening. They're moving towards B. They do have really good ultimates, and they've got that Brimstone. So they could ignore Hookah, smoke it off, smoke off elbow, smoke off spawn, and do a full site hit with all these pieces of util that they can use, but already Fnatic's moving in here, and they've got the positioning. Durka's got a Vandal as well in the back of the site here, and a Paint Shells.
JohnQT trying to work up towards B long here. Already pressure on the side, but they haven't broken through by Octagon yet. Now they go. Zekken wants to find Durka, who quickly dodges, but it's JohnQT to land it. Boaster with the impact. Now down to Zekken and TenZ. And Zekken up above, flies through the air. But the ease is not there. It's all on TenZ in the 1v1. But where the hell is Chronicle? Even TenZ is unsure, but opts for a plant here, but he's only got a Bucky. How the hell is he meant to get in here now? Did he see him?
He's going for the jump spots, the silent ones too.
He's looking for him. Chronicle, has he made it down yet? I think he might have, just creeping ever closer. Tens takes a look, takes a glance, and they pass each other, and it is all going to be down on timing. Tens completely unaware. Spots a pixel and gets the body! Tens holds for Sentinels! And we're tied up all even again.
That got so close. Fnatic had a really good read to get on that site. Boaster getting those first 2 kills, no less. But a big investment from Sentinels. It came down to Tens with 49 HP and a 1v1 to close it out. Chronicle missing that timing ever so slightly, going for the middle of the tube instead of wrapping around. Could have found Tens, and that could have been a round in the favor of Fnatic off the back of some low economy buy.
There.
And now, so many good ultimates as well for Fnatic as well to be able to swing things around. It's all on their game plan here, but setting up with the standard, going for that showers control. Sentinels also spread default, trying to get a feel for the land. Right here, they don't really know exactly what is coming from Fnatic, whereas on Sunset, the last map, they knew exactly what Fnatic was doing and played them, pulled the strings like a puppet master.
Yeah, and they have to be a little bit more, I guess, reactionary than instigating it in this regard. So I'm kind of curious how they approach it. And already, nice to see Tens picking up a little map one. I mean, he closed it with, finished with a flourish, absolutely. But it was, it was a slog of a game. Here, great start for him. Already probably going to be confident. Looking like he wants to be as involved as possible. And already, you heard it in the clip earlier there, well, the recording almost, of Zelsis saying, let's slow it down a little. And it was right call, it was like, second time of asking.
That was on Zekken trying to take that hookah fight when they spotted a lot of Fnatic players. So trying to make sure that they're grouped up a little bit. They know how much this map is going to mean. If they play this perfectly, then they have a chance to 2-0 this series. But Fnatic picking Bind for a reason. It's one of their stronger maps, right outside of Haven probably, and Lotus. Sentinels, it's all on them and their teamwork and staying together and staying calm, but 30 seconds left. They're going to have to commit at some point here. They've got Long B and Hookah. It's going to be a big execution.
And they don't have the ults to depend upon this time. It's tricky, and you've got Boaster in what feels like a risky position, but it might just work, especially with the smoke. They're none the wiser, but he still gets one. Trade comes in. Zekken trying to run rampant, but it's still going to be dealt with by Durka. Trying to secure the site. They can't. Durka on the back lines, keeping this in their hands. Time is now of the essence, and they've run out of it. The spike too far. This time, Fnatic hold.
A great defense from Fnatic there. Invested showstopper. Durka coming out of that spawn smoke, and Boaster with that first kill as well. You see that cosmetic stun on Durka on backside there? That's got to get Sentinels a little bit frustrated there. We're running out of that time, but we saw in Sunset how they kind of picked up the pace in a lot of these situations, went towards B quickly here. I think they're a little bit scared of going too quick here. We've seen Fnatic already set up a hookah crunch. They've set up a teleporter push from Long B into the showers area, so they're going to pump the brakes, call that timeout. This is the first one that they're going to use, round 6, and they're just going to talk about the situation, what they see, how Fnatic's setting up, and what pace they can use. The coaches get to come in from a third perspective and maybe chime in. We heard that Zelsa saying, don't, slow down, wait for us. I know, like, you knew where he was, but we got to do this together, basically.
The shining beacon of Sentinels there. But looking at the ults as well, they're one away, I think, from the orbital strike for Zelsis. They do have the Nightfall there as well, so they could maybe make up a couple of plans with those in mind for Sentinels. Obviously, on the other side, Divides come through already. One off from the Nightfall for Hero. They do have the Fish ult as well for Alpha. So a couple of big ults near on coming in. So I want to see what the game plan is coming out from Sentinels now. They've kind of, I guess, felt the tempo a little bit, right? They're starting to feel out the game, feeling like maybe we're a little bit delayed in that previous one. Maybe getting a little fortunate in some way for Fnatic, but Dirk has been doing damage. You put him on the side like that, he's going to find his kills. So as it stands, I'm kind of just curious at this point, what is the game plan from Sentinels? How quickly can they adapt in a map that they're not so, I guess, comfortable on?
Instead of playing more reactionary, what it looks like they're doing at the moment, they could do something a little bit more proactive and stimulate things to start moving around a little bit more. Go a little bit more aggressive. You have the players to go for those fights. They're just afraid of those TP crunches. And as I say that,
that's the players. You've got them. Use them. Zekken and Sasi taking away Durka and Hero, their opposing numbers, and John QT closing in the net. Chronicle still going to do some damage. Oh, what is that? Oh, but he gets caught. Tens ain't going to let that slip. Keeps it safe on the site. Backline fight as well. You got to look at Zelsis, look at Alpha. That's closing in. They even get to know where Boaster is. Patience paying here, Zellsis waiting, Alpha caution being displayed, and it ain't clean enough. He does get away with it, but Zellsis gonna catch him and bring him back down to earth. But a 1v2 for Boaster. Position was considered, and he's dead and buried.
Beautiful double kill opening on Showers to find that opening, that speed up that contact. Every round has been slow, it's been spread apart, and they've been using abilities to start clearing out these angles. Yes, they use it Prowler, but behind that, nothing else, no sounds at all, going in quietly. Chronicle saying like, hey, I've played with Nats before, I know how to play this agent over here, short. But Dai's trying to get his Viper's Pit off, and that's going to be expended. He doesn't have that anymore for this next round, and they're going to have to go into an eco. So many good ultimates. It's a shame.
And take a look at the timeline, just briefly, before it goes away. Since we got to the gun rounds, SEN have been having impact. The scoreline a little bit hard to read into in moments. 3-3, you might think it's a bit more of an even affair, and the rounds have been close. But the swing is in, and Chronicle, gotta be cautious here, caught by the seas, and the orbital strike, he's about to get away from it, fortunately for him. How much can they throw on one man? Chronicle, I don't know how you're even still alive, surely dead now. He had the entirety of the team thrown at him. Sight is under Sentinel's control, however.
It's gonna be a tough one to break into. Yes, you got Spawn, you got Heaven, you got Showers, but all these smokes and pistols.
How are you meant to make your way through the mayhem? So much in their way, and again, the ult does find a target. You can see Sassy considering, does he fancy biting in on that? But no. Oh, okay. Alpha with a banger. Takes away Zekken. Divide gonna go through. Tens leans forward. The Chosen One himself stands tall and holds the ground. Durka damage, he's dead. And now down a hero in a 1v3. And the time ain't on his side, and neither are the numbers. Sentinels, eyes on the prize today.
Couple of rounds back-to-back off the back of that timeout for Sentinels. Good value there. Wondering if Fnatic's going to take their turn to get a timeout and start swinging things around in their favor. Because right now, Sentinels just took the lead. He attacks out of Vine, and that's very scary. Another Cosmic Divide not being able to get any value. Sentinels, again, another quick game around there. Chronicle, he got Prowlered, he got seized.
Oh, there was nowhere to go.
Yeah,
there was nowhere.
Orbital Strike.
Yep.
Thrashed.
Wild. And do we get the brawl again?
Oh.
Okay, that's a different weapon there, though. No respect to it. They want to press the issue. Oh, that's why! Second, you are outrageous! And another potential victim. Heroes lucky to be breathing. Again, just onslaught after onslaught. Chronicle tries. Well, he still can only do so much. Hero has fallen. It's on Chronicle, Boaster, and Alpha, who are being absolutely stun-locked out of this game. The pace has been so oppressive from Sentinels. So well done. John QT, never gonna let the round slip, is he? Alpha is there, and the second for Alpha. Now down to a 3v2, but look who's creeping in. John QT, the one to full stop the round, surely. How are they meant to do anything with this man's presence alone? The Spike feeling inaccessible. And Sassy not giving them a fight. Trying to play to the timing. Chronicle pries him out, but the time is starting to tick. And John QT knows it. He plays it to the second. He knows what to do.
And around the world, flank, catching Boaster before he could get that smoke off. He got the star down, but wasn't able to convert it. And Sentinels building on that lead right now. Fnatic still have their timeouts to start using. And they're gonna pop it now, realizing what's happening. These Showers fights have been going in the favor of Sentinels in these last few rounds. The AWP comes out for Team Fnatic to put a stop to it, but Zekken knows that pre-fire angle. I know, you're gonna be holding this. Hey, I've played Duelist before.
Bro, Alpha's tilted, boys. He's not even ulted.
Guess what?
3 rounds in a row.
Corner of the Showers, it's gone. As soon as he gets that kill, showstopper, we go out.
And this is the beauty of Sentinels, right? Let's take a moment here. This map isn't in their wheelhouse. It's not something they lean towards often. But they're the team of intangibles. They're hard to pin down as, you know, what makes it work. But then you'll have a round like that from Zekken. Tens has been online the whole series. And it's rinse, repeat pressure towards A. Good calls, good tempos. You've got on it, like, everything is lining up for them. Now, Fnatic have slowed this down. They've gone for the pause here, Josh, because they can feel the momentum shift. And that's a scary thing when you're facing SEN. You don't want to let that momentum slip. So for Fnatic, they've got a couple of ults to play with, but they've lost a grip on the tempo of the game itself.
It's a big difference actually between Fnatic and Sentinels, is that when Sentinels is able to find that opening, they unleash, they go forwards, and you can barely put them on a leash to hold them back. Whereas Fnatic is more like, okay, let's wait for this next step. And right now, I mean, Sentinels, if you have those individuals and your entire style is that X factor, when you find these opportunities, your individuals can take control over this game. That's what they're doing right now, and Fnatic need to find a way to bite back. Standard setup again, no WAP in play, but these showers fights have been going in the favor of Sentinels, and Sentinels I don't think are going to start shying away from it anytime soon. Fowler in the front, Mosh in the back.
Try and get a way out, but Zekken taking all the space. Again, they've won that, I guess, close sight control. They've eyed up the A site, and again, rewarded for the util. They've worked this out. They've got a really good concept of how they want to take towards this site. Fnatic need an answer, Josh.
Thrash instantly as soon as he gets a plant. Nightfall in a fast retake.
Chronicle on the swing, and he hits! Knocking three of them out of the park, leaving just Sassy alive in a 1v5. This would be monumental.
Wait.
Oh my God, it's halfway though. He has to go, he has to swing, and he falls. A valiant attempt.
And Fnatic,
Christ.
they fight back though. They know, okay, we're gonna give you resistance, you can have this, we're gonna do our retakes. Try to hold against us. And Saucy, oh man, if he had any teammates left though, that spray transfer was great. Chronicle finding the first lineup off the back of that Nightfall as well. All of those targets softened up, half HP. Finding that, but again, it's such a still close scoreline, still in the favor of Sentinels, but their economy is actually getting really low. Fnatic could swing this around.
Anything could happen, anything can and will happen. First time we're seeing an early attempt towards Alpha though. Feeling the difference, peels away. Prowler comes in, notes nothing towards short.
They have that attack side Nightfall. If they get in the site, they have the Viper's Pit to lock down either elbow or spawn.
This Mosh should at least isolate the rest of the players away from Zekken, but they're completely unawares. Boaster!
Durka, what?
Just asleep at the wheel at Zekken! Just eviscerating them! He's the one to take this site. He is the one in control. And these are problems, these are issues, these are unmistakable. The only one to answer back so far is Chronicle. Zekken still stands, he still delivers. That's 3, 4, Zekken! Outrageous impact, and he knows where Chronicle is. Zelsis.
No, no,
oh, Zelsis!
no.
Poetry in motion.
Zekken, earlier in the game, told to hold back, wait, slow down. But now, Zelsis is probably happy that he's running at them. That's back-to-back rounds, basically. Outshowers a couple rounds ago with that showstopper after getting that Durka kill through the wall. And here, just keeps pressing forwards and keeps them locked out of that choke point. Surprised that Durka actually tried to come through that smoke in that 4 versus 5. Fnatic gotta stick to their guns. Zelsis is trying to have a little bit too much fun, potentially.
The maniacal laugh there at the end. He's like an evil genius. 4 to 6. Alpha, the only one with the Vandal. And we have to say it, we have to state it. This could be the game starting to slip away. This is tournament life. This is what it comes down to, a historical matchup, to say the least. And as it stands, Fnatic are getting flashbacks. Speaking of flashes, you don't want to be saying that, but Chronicle does get a rifle. That's all the redeeming qualities here, as Sentinels control that B site perfectly. Maybe Hero now with the Vandal in hand can lead them back.
It's gonna be tough.
High Dizzy, it connects, doesn't find Hero. They read it well, but not well enough. Maybe a chance made. Zekken, the monster of those previous rounds, pops the ult. That is a warning signal, but Hero still drops the body, fighting with everything they can. Oh, but Chronicle the time! It's gone, it's too late in the day. It's Sentinels making it up to 7.
When I see the rounds close out like that, you know it's clear as day Fnatic have it in them. They're not converting any of these situations right now. They're so good when they can get to the retakes, when they move together in tandem. But Sentinels right now, the first few rounds, feel it out, slow. As soon as they start hitting them back. It's all just unleashed
Win or lose
from
with
there.
confidence.
Sentinels is running away with this game right now, and Fnatic need to find a way to put the brakes on them, stop them from getting away with just whatever it is Sentinels wants. It's A, 4 rounds in a row. They go B. It's easy. It's free. It's open.
Don't know if there is a way to stop this Sentinels team. Chronicle is trying. I think we can all say that. Fan of Fnatic or Sentinels, you got to say this man is scary. 14-6. He's found impact time and time again. This time trying to control one aspect of at least this A site. Durka allowed to focus towards Shower. Good shot. Zekken goes down, dulling the tip of the spear a touch. Sentinels still going to try and get the plant going here. That's in play.
They have that Molly also from that Brimstone. If he has a lineup for the spot, it could be free.
Could be, but it's pandemonium on the site, and Tens wants in. Where the hell did that go? But Durka still gonna find it with a shorty. Chronicle still controlling. It's on Zelsis, it's on John QT. A clutch would be demanded. Oh, there's not much more he can do. Chronicle, this is the danger. This is the impact. If Fnatic aren't waking up, he will wake them up if he has to.
Gap closes, 5-7. We're going into the second half. Fnatic need to find a way to equalize. That would be the second pistol of the half, though.
Switching sides. And history demands this game was going to be close. It was going to be a great affair between the two of them. And 5-7, we are on the money for this to be a memorable moment for both sides.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Roll your minds back. Iceland, Reykjavik, the first time they truly met. Not earlier in the competition, the one that mattered. The one that set these two teams on such different trajectories. Sentinels went to the stars. Impenetrable Perfect looked outrageously good. Fnatic fell to pieces off the back of one singular flash that set everything into motion. Now they stand at a 5-7. A close game, anyone's game, but the way SEN got to 7, Josh, has got to have Fnatic on the ropes.
Fnatic started out that first map, Sunset. They got the pistol, they converted all the way through, and ended up closing that half out actually 8-4. And Sentinels crawling it back in that second half. But here, Fnatic with that pistol and that second round conversion only end with 5. They're on the back foot. And this game so far has been Fnatic stealing those first few rounds away, Sentinels getting a feel for the land, and then going unleashed. And right now, with the scoreline in the favor of Sentinels at the moment, that is a scary prospect, because if they are feeling good, they're going to be in Fnatic's faces and not letting Fnatic get away with any of these plans. The one saving grace is Fnatic like to start a little bit slow, feel out what's going on, and deny any of this aggression. So if Sentinels gets caught by it, it's going to be dangerous.
Just a heads up, in case you're wondering. Got to get one in the game. Got to get one. Classic, no, it isn't an air issue. Hopefully that'll be resolved quickly. Looking down the stage, who's done it? Is it Boaster? No? Don't know. Sure, can't tell. It's Hero? Looks like Hero. Yeah, so hopefully that'll be fixed up soon. You can kind of see it being fixed live on the screens. But bigger picture, can Sentinels do the same sort of thing now on the side switch? You know, it's harder to maybe determine the pace and just be as bullish in approach. They were really headstrong with how they were approaching. They get that pick, they just flood the site there. They're aggressive. But can you do that as much here? Does Fnatic now have an opportunity to turn that tide?
Before the map started, basically, we're talking about, you know, Fnatic on Vine, how good they look. They ran it in EMEA. We haven't really seen so much of it from the side of Sentinels, and we're thinking, oh, this should be a shoe-in. It should be easy. Is this the start of a curse? We'll see soon, I guess. As long as Chronicle and Alpha remain seated. The seatbelt light is on. Do not get up.
Chronicle just told him to sit down. It did work. I mean, you can't, like, for some reason, Chronicle just has this, like, mad aura, though, that you just don't want to, like, if he just tells you no, it's like, fair enough. Cool. But still, it is such an interesting matchup stylistically. Hopefully, the issues will be resolved soon. Looking like everything's getting better. Hero, I think, is probably testing it out. Looking sorted. We'll let you know as soon as. Yeah, I think we're good to go, ladies and gents. So let's focus back up. Eyes on the prize. 5-7. Tournament life is on the line between two titans here. Historical matchup. The origins of the NA-EU battle between the two regions. And as it stands, NA is leading. Map 1 in the bag. Half in their side. Now, Fnatic, have you got what it takes to answer back? We find out as we start. And I asked if aggression could work. Instead of trying it. Try and fail. Chronicle, that's why you respect him. When he tells you to sit down, you sit down. 2 already to kick things off. And instantly SEN have to fall away from that.
Sit down or I'll bury you, basically. He puts him down. 5 alive for Fnatic. And they put the brakes on. That smoke is making them second guess themselves, but also when they let the round develop like this, Sentinels, they can't play spread apart. If they do, then it's going to be 5 versus 2 or 5 versus 1. So they're going to get a little bit sweaty here.
I would say, though, with John QT and that Sheriff, there's still, like, high levels that this could go any which way. It's certainly not on one path yet. But they've navigated past him, at least for the initial contact. He could still create a little bit of a crossfire, maybe with Zelsis here, or does he play it a little bit late? Options are plenty.
Only 2 stars available for Boaster. He needs to pick which 2 spots he wants to lock out. Hookah and Spawn and Alpha finds that pick. John QT sits in Hookah, but locked out for another 10 seconds here before he can get into the action. And in a 2 versus 5, your options are limited. You have to hope that Fnatic actually make a mistake, slip up here, but the way they've been playing this round so far doesn't look like it's going to be coming into play.
No, it's very, very tricky to find impact now. The unoccupied space feels so obvious. Boaster probably going to get contact. Beautiful! John QT, yeah, give him a wave. Give him a wave. But anymore, if you're Fnatic, you take the round, you don't care about the kill. And the time ticking fast enough now, they're going to be looking to give this up to the spike.
A lesson learned for Boaster there. When you do these jump spots, you have to make sure that when you do it, you make noise landing, they're going to go on that timing that they hear you land. You're going to go ramp up for that next jump. They're going to pre-aim your head. You have to switch it up. Sometimes you do the silent jiggle. Sometimes you do the jump jiggle. Sometimes
he was just practicing on behavior.
Oh, true. Actually, true. At least he didn't make contact with a brick wall there. True.
I mean, you could call John QT the brick wall of that shot, couldn't you? Just, oof. But it's the first round for Fnatic. Scoreline, 1 step closer. Just classics. I hate saying just classics.
Just classics. Just the free weapon.
I hate it. I know.
But is it the Sentinels bundle classic? Oh, yeah, they all got him.
Oh. Just chilling. And away we go.
Fnatic creeping up that long B line. Chronicle holding this A push by himself.
Oh, Chron.
Just the ghost. If he does go down. Oh, man.
That was so nasty.
I think everyone pulled the trigger at the exact same time.
There was no way out. Okay, do we go?
An atomic clock on that.
Do we go for the firing squad? I'm still a little nervous here. Okay, Durka. He's going to alleviate my worries. But oh dear. Hey guys, free weapons. Don't know why I'm doing horse impressions, but I'm getting nervous, is all I'm saying here. John QT, as said, they made something out of this round. They've cost him a fair bit here. I think that's at least... Okay, that's a Bulldog lost, maybe. Boaster looking to... run, run, please just run. We don't want another jump spot incident. John QT just wants to die peacefully, all right? He's happy to give that up. And that was with just classics.
That was just... I understand why Durka's out there. He's trying to get
everyone got it.
He's trying to get his ultimate orbs. He's trying to get to that showstopper a little bit quicker. Once he goes down, though, Alpha, he's got that Phantom. He's trying to tap away at that, but you can't do that with that many bullets. The reset time, the bullets just go out of control. Fnatic, they got their Vandals up. They got the Phantoms up. They're ready to go into this first gun round. On their attack side, Sentinels trying to put a stop to it here. Firing squad of their own here. High-low, waiting for someone to just peek around the corner, say, what's over here? Is it going to be Chronicle with his wall? But no, he's over towards B, and Hero, he'll probably use a Prowler before he decides to show his face.
Hopefully for his sake. And quiet across the map. Just a smoke, a Prowler here and there, but no contact made, and Sentinels being kept safe by a jump spot and a high-low setup for now. Fnatic starting to lean heavily towards this A site. Zekken waiting and seeing nothing. Chronicle's got to be very careful here.
They found out the setup. They had that showers control. The smokes were down. Now they get to leave Boaster there. Come back to short A. It's going to be a quad peek.
Oh, left, right, and he's dead! Overwhelmed Zelsis! He's playing it as late as he can there, trying to invest the molly, but they can walk ahead of it. They can get ahead of that, and they do, but Zelsis still amongst all of the maelstrom, still here. Just trying to watch between the smokes, between the spam. The plant is in.
Hero
gets
solo, but he's alive.
Ult coming in. That's a problem. Gets handled well. They're just on that verge now. The Sentinels play this forward, but they flood the site. They're down low on HP. They're running low on players. And they're running low on time. Another Prowler in. They're not getting what they want. There's no access here. It's time to back away and save the weapons.
Another big conversion from Fnatic here. Taking their time, making sure they strike at the perfect moment. But off the back of these pistols, that's the only thing that's kept them in the game so far. Sentinels has had a better overall control of the game. Here, slipping up one time isn't going to be the difference maker. But they need to be able to bounce back and respond to Fnatic's execution here. A great way, taking showers, baiting out that molly, then shifting back to short A and peeking all together, catching this high-low setup. It's good to pick off a straggler, maybe if it's Chronicle alone, but not when 4 people come. It's a jet dash position, not a raise, whatever.
Yeah, harder to make it work, but 3 in a row now for Fnatic, and by hook or by crook, they've got there. It hasn't, it's felt really damn close though, but it's been enough that's put them now in the lead here. Taking the reins back a touch. We were questioning how would Sentinels suit this side? Would it be harder for them to find that profound aggression that was working really well? And they've been trying it, but it's not finding the same reward.
4-man stack on A, looking to fight showers. Pushed off, 10's down really low, only 41 HP remaining. But so many pieces of util to push them off between the Prowlers, the Boombot, the Paint Shells. Dizzy goes in, recall is smart. But a 4-man reclear potentially from Sentinels here.
Yeah, gonna go back in for the fight. Alpha takes down one, but it's traded out. The Dizzy does well, and Tens claims Durka. This is good. This is a man to Sentinels this time. Shower control regathered, but Fnatic still have 50 seconds to try and paint the picture they want to, but that spike is a problem.
It's going to be so difficult to recover this. They do have stars on Astra. They can use these abilities to flush them out. Also, a Molotov from that Viper can clear out certain corners, but this crossfire from Heaven,
it's John QT. His positioning has been outstanding, genuinely, and his timing on the util, again, solidifying the safety of that spike.
The smoke's going to fade away in 5 seconds as well. He needs to re-smoke this if they want a chance.
20 seconds, the molly now. This is so well done. They are just suffocating Fnatic out of this round. And you talk about his positioning, John QT. He is hard to pin down. He's outrageously good at what he does.
10 seconds
and he reappears at the right time. The spike's still firmly in hand. He tries to make it costly, but Fnatic will have to let this one slip. Sentinels with the right fight in the right place at the right time.
Fnatic give up another round, but Sentinels, it was expensive for them at the end there. Losing those last two players, John QT in heaven as well. It's just not good enough. It needs to be a little bit more clean if they want to be able to get this comeback, but I like what they're doing. They're pressing forward. So when Fnatic is doing their methodical approach to everything, this is kind of what I alluded to before, is that a lot of what they do, it's strong because it works well, but it's telegraphed. So if someone's trying to defend against it by themselves, they'll get taken out. But when there's 4 people swinging in there off the back of a wingman waddling in their faces, they'll win those duels, get that spike down, and convert around.
Silence shown towards A, but it's pressure on B.
It's a lot of strength towards A, and right now, nothing to connect in that hookah trap through the teleporter. This is going to be a free sight for Fnatic here. 5 versus 5 retake potentially coming out. TenZ has a thrash they could utilize, but they need more spaces to come out of right now. They're looking to do a TP play and come from hookah and spawn at the same time, but there's so many players here, and TenZ goes down.
But a quick trade, Zekken gonna keep it in hand. 4v4, but the time on their side. And Chronicle closing in. The man has been a nightmare incarnate. Hero finds John QT, pressure on CT, and Chronicle step by step getting closer. The inevitable death looking like it's likely. And Chronicle, he sees it all, and he takes down one, spots another with Durka. It's perfect from Fnatic.
Fnatic doing such a good job, a switch up, going B instead of A. Sentinels with a hard read. They're trying to do these mind games. It was working so well for them on Sunset, but here, not getting the right beat, and Fnatic take a round and potentially getting close to swinging the game in their favor. They have that lead now, finally 9-8, but did they do enough damage on that other round to put Sentinels on an eco round here? Because if that's the case, the momentum is also in the favor of Fnatic, and Sentinels maybe don't stand up.
Let's see. Sheriffs, light shields.
It's a save. It's a swing round.
Yeah. Nice.
5-man B stack. Will they assume that the last 2 players are also in hookah? They're waiting for it, expecting it.
Yeah, they know it. They've read it. Closer collects on towards John QT and Zelsis. I mean, he does like that classic. I think I've heard a couple of things about that.
Yeah.
But what are you meant to do with it here? Nah, not this time. Chronicle, good for it. It's 10, double digits. And maybe map 3 now becomes a reality. It's not over by any means. Sentinels still with plenty of chances. But you look at the run of rounds. The 3 initial for Fnatic. The answer back on the 16th. And now 2 back-to-back. This is where the game starts slipping away from Sen. We were question marking this half specifically. They're struggling here.
I'm wondering when that timeout comes in for Sentinels, because if another round goes in the favor of Fnatic, they might be letting it go too long. But op out for TenZ on that Gecko. He's going to get that showers line. Again, Fnatic switching it up, going towards B. They love switching up their game plan a few rounds into the game when they think that they've been figured out, or after they got the value out of what they wanted to do. Stay a step ahead of their opponents. Sentinels on that back foot, but TenZ taking this deep line. He's going deeper and deeper, assuring his teammates, hey, it's going to be B again potentially, but they keep 2 players here. They have that showstopper on Zekken, so if it is a B hit, especially if it's through hookah, they can connect that way, through short, through that teleporter.
Ooh, but damage. Alpha, he's a lucky
1
boy.
HP.
Once the decay goes, he'll go back up, but not by much. I mean, 26, he's still the walking wounded.
1 shot distance.
And where do they decide to stick the landing? TenZ getting curious.
He's got all the info in the world that he needs to reassure his teammates about B, and Zekken's already on that site. He's got that showstopper, but this teleport back to, oh my god,
yeah.
It's going to be a teleport back to
is.
A. They're going to catch TenZ with his pants down.
But it's still TenZ, and when he's there, my mind will still always question mark it. Give us the eyes on him, let's see what the Chosen One can do. Good for 1, no more to be done. The Wonder Kid takes over.
That's a big
takes
volley
over
timing.
showers, but the Hero's ahead of it. He gets to slip the net. He gets to get the plant. So the time isn't the problem here. 3 players already on the side. Zekken pops the ult. Oh, Booster gets splattered against the wall. A 3v4 in favor to Sen. Alpha down low does have his ult. The Prowler doesn't quite make it. But Sassy aware, Chronicle, the final boss of Fnatic, is still standing. supported by the young gun Hero, but they are in problems. They are in trouble. The tap on the spike should draw the reaction. John QT finds Hero, and Chronicles fall, and Sentinels stay in the game.
Ever so slightly, Fnatic's plan there actually was so good, it worked. Tens can't get away, he's on Gecko, not Jet. He gets taken out, but yeah, just coming out of heaven, Zekken, he's got that showstopper, and when Zekken sees blood, he is chasing people like a shark. He is in there, he is not afraid to take those fights and swing around. We look at Sentinels, we look at X Factor players.
Let's stay in it, boys. No tilt, only vibes, logic.
Don't tilt, only vibes, logic.
I like that.
Inspirational. We should get that on like a t-shirt, a mug. Like,
yeah, we got merch. Sen, get on it. For now, though, Operator's still in play for Tens. Still going to see the actually Viper's Pit there for John QT. One away from Sassy's ult. On the other side, Fish ult there for Alpha. We've got some bits on the horizon. This could get really messy. And Zekken freed up a touch. You see the switch up of position as well. Zelsis taken over towards Showers. Tens on the longer line over towards Heaven, allowing Faith in the 3 to stay here. The test of the execution now for Fnatic.
A big paint shell placement, Thrash available as well. Dizzy just before that as well. It looks like Alpha's setting up a mosh for that long B control so that they can take it at the same time as they can explode on the site. That Viper wall, it's gonna be going down soon. He doesn't have enough remaining on it. That paint shell from Zekken though could be a huge timing.
Could be. Waiting for the 50-second goer. It looks like it's in now. The Dizzy goes through. The ult comes in. Zekken falls as Boaster finds him. Alpha going to note the follow-up as well. That's going to be Sassy seen. Held up and denied. The ult then got popped by John QT, who's the one who could maybe stop it all. He takes away Durka and he plays towards the site. Plants in play, and Hero has none of it. Leaving Tens and Zelsu with no options. Time to save. 11 carved into the board for Fnatic.
Once they see this, all their pieces fall apart, they go for that save. They have that op still. It's not getting any value though. Fnatic's been going B, going B, going B. Time for Sentinels to try to get ahead of what Fnatic's doing. Because right now, Fnatic, if you give them long B, you give them hookah, they execute. There's no way you're holding that. It's not possible. You need to fight them at the choke points. We saw that when Sentinels fought them at Showers. But have they fought them at long B yet? No. Have they fought them in hookah yet? Not really.
It's always that thing, though. It feels like when the second Tens moves, they're going to go back towards that A hit. Yep. It's so hard to find that rhythm to the game.
When you do that switch up in Sentinels, they had those reads, but so far it's been Fnatic's game. They've been staying a step ahead.
Send timeout, do you reckon?
It needs to come because we were talking about it. If it didn't come last round, 11 rounds for Fnatic, and here it comes out. And they usually do well. Their adjustments are good after they get that timeout. They won the last one. They got a couple of rounds in a row off the back of it, actually. So if they're able to get a couple of rounds off the back of this timeout here, talk about not only this round, but also what you're going to do after, because surely you have to switch something up. But again, when you see a timeout from your opponent, you switch things up yourself. You're trying to anticipate what their adjustment's going to be, if they're going to go fast, slow, are they going to get in your faces, where's that op going to go, and you try to do some sort of baked-in misdirection. We saw that on Sunset from Fnatic. We saw them trying to fake towards B, go A, especially towards the later part of the game after everything was, you know, towards B main. But right now, it's anyone's guess.
It is. It's been 2 rounds this half that have gone towards Sentinels. The rest, all Fnatics. It's been a incredible map from Chronicle. You've got Durka there as well. Everyone kind of doing what they need to. Zekken, can't take it away from him either. He has been impactful, but this half has been hard. Now, where do they bring the operator now? In the hands of Tens, it makes its way towards B. But,
Fnatic,
as of course we know, the logic dictates, the second you rotate, they're going the other way.
This is going to be tough if Fnatic do a little bit of misdirection, use that Prowler or Haunt towards Hookah, try to make it seem like it might be a B hit again. But then quickly pivot back towards A. Tens not in the equation again.
But I liked that they were trying to sell the same start, at least, to try and kind of show off that it still might be this B play. But the fact that he's so far down B long, now they know what's going on. The divide, that insult to injury, and Durka dives head first. Oh, it's gorgeous! Durka conquering the entirety of the side. But do they know about Zelsis? Well, Zellsis, what are we going to do now? A chance at glory, and he gets none. Alpha ensures safety. Make sure that the plant comes down. Never off guard duty, and Chronicle the closer. And TenZ, this is a hard game to play when you feel like this. You're never in the right place, never at the right time. And Zekken, you got to back away. These weapons are so valuable. 12 is surely here for Fnatic.
The double-edged sword of a timeout coming out. And Sentinels, oh, you try to move, you try to stay a step ahead of your opponents, but Fnatic, they've had the read on this game. They're showing why they picked Bind. They're showing why it's one of their, probably higher of the middle of the pack maps for them.
But it only takes a moment. We've seen it before. Zekken playing with Durka at this point, it feels like. But that's the operator gone. So actually that's going to be quite interesting for the economy. I want to see what happens to this. Fnatic, 1 away now. This half has been beautiful from them. I think it would be a disservice to not say that. Sitting on 12 here, the 9 Sentinels are trying to stay in this, and they've made a damn good go of it, don't get me wrong, but 2 rounds is not enough, simply put. But Sentinels, the ones who, somehow the intangible, it's definitely not Prius. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, good work. Yeah. But genuinely, I want a third. I think anyone wants a third between these two, and we are set up for it. It takes one more round and we're there. Or is there resilience? Is there resistance? Can SEN pull this back from the brink? And it looks like this is what it comes down to. Durka, his name up in lights. And Fnatic looking to rebound after the arduous map 1. Bind looking like it's going to be in their hands. John QT and Zellsis with a lot of work to do, Josh.
That's showstopper with Durka as well. As soon as they start inching up, it's going to be all over. Durka already opened up the round with 2.
Durka wants this done. Takes another. It's all on Zellsis, and it's over. Map 3 is unlocked. This historied head-to-head deserves it. We wanted the entirety to be played out, and we will. Fnatic with a lifeline, Lotus on the horizon. You don't want to miss it.
Science, as you know, is the study of the nature and behavior of the universe. It's based on observation, on experiment and measurement, and formulation of laws to describe the facts, reveal, formulate, 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 formulate.
series is going the distance. I'm your host, Yingsun. I'm back here with Saisho and Bren. Now, we talked about how this has the hallmarks of being an all-time classic, and I think it's delivering.
Yeah, the performances that we're getting here today are phenomenal. Fnatic were barely in that first half, I felt. They managed to string some rounds together just based on ults, but then on their attack sides, and I think we're seeing this for both teams actually, they're bringing such great ideas to their attack halves that it's difficult to hold on. It feels like we're getting excellence from Fnatic whenever ults are online as well, but I'm maybe a little cautious there that it might only be with ults online.
For sure, but I also think as well, it was pretty evident, I think, that SEN's defense half was, I'm not going to say ill thought out, but it's clear that they don't have as much time into it on Bind, because there were big gaps in terms of how they were playing, which I think Fnatic did navigate really well. You know, we saw, like, for example, the quad peek onto the double hold on short. That just rings out into my mind of immediately Fnatic being able to punish that and just find ways around it still. So they put on a really good performance to bring us to Lotus now, and yeah, what a map. That is now the middle ground for both of these teams, I would argue, as well, for an explosive finish to this series.
Yeah, speaking of how great that map was, though, Brent, Chronicle.
Yeah, dude,
King of Bind.
He is the GOAT in my mind, dude. I mean, there's nobody who's like lifting trophies like him. He's got plenty of them under his belt. He's playing like he wants another one, and he kept them in this map, and he kept them in this series because it's elimination on the line. You've got to win this map if you're Fnatic. In the first half, Fnatic weren't doing things, I would say, well, elegantly in terms of their overall strategy, but Chronicle is consistently there with multi-kills, bailing them out of these spots to the tough scenarios, and his game sense is off the charts in a lot of these moments.
You're looking at it when he brings up the scoreboard after getting a kill or whatever, and he's got like 22 kills, the rest of his team's on 10. Now, Durka did catch up to him by the end of the game, but Chronicle was keeping him in it in some very, very tough spots, and he continues to be their best performing player at this event. They're going to need more from him again when things get to Lotus too. He can't slow down. Team's asking almost, I would argue, too much of him at the moment. When you have a super team out there, it's rare that you should see one guy clearly ahead of the rest of the pack. But he's doing it today, and he's been doing it all tournament.
He's just chronically on Bind. Sorry, I really wanted to use that.
I mean, that's quite a good one, actually.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we're always chronically online, so maybe it's time for us to be chronically on Bind. But this is the thing, though. The way that Fnatic were able to win out their second half just came from such beautiful plays, of which, if they did this on Lotus, I think it's kind of signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah, this is one of the few rounds, actually, where they managed to get an advantage. That's a quad peek against the high-low setup, so outplaying Sentinels, get into a position, put the squeeze on Zelsis, who had a very rough map, and then they close things out with Alfier's ult.
Yeah, and glimpses, I think, of the uncomfortability from Sen, even in this clip, where Zelsis is using the molly to try and cut him off at the choke point instead of using it for plant denial in that spot where, listen, the floodgates are already open. Fnatic were getting in no matter what. That molly's not going to be deterring them from anything, but it's Chronicle again who opens them up into this round, and the ideas that supplement around it with how they're going to be breaking the defensive Sentinels on full display for them to convert the bonus and keep all that momentum going.
Yeah. My one concern is that I agree with you. Sentinels actually didn't look that solid, and yet they still put up an incredibly competitive map.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is the concern for Fnatic today, is that they're getting pushed really heavily by a team that's not at the top of their map pool yet. And I feel like Lotus, we've seen some excellence. It's going to require players like Durka to step up and deliver enormous performances. I think that his entering is going to be absolutely key. And it's something that fell off a little bit, actually, last time they played on Lotus. If you cast your minds back to last time we saw Durka on his Raze playing Lotus against Team Heretics, he messed up a couple of ult situations. Round 7 sticks out to me like a sore thumb when he played Lotus. They got themselves into an ult spot. He didn't use his nade to break a lockdown properly. Boasters in the comms afterwards saying, guys, take a deep breath and just listen to me. It's that simple. And they ended up tilting and losing the map 13-3.
I mean, luckily when we saw them downstage just now, they don't look shaken at all. No. But this is, I'm going to reiterate this again. Bren, Sentinels, they're in the same position today as they were yesterday. They have to be able to close this out.
They do have to be able to close it out, but they've been in a spot like this before, the most difficult path to really walk to even get to a trophy through the lower bracket. Same can be said for Fnatic, but they've done it before. They know they have that experience at the back of their minds. And not just that, I think the fact that they, you know, what you were saying, Josh, the fact that they did manage to contest and tangle with Fnatic so closely on a bind map where they didn't have the most drilled setups, I think speaks just some volumes, I think, about the mentality that this squad has. Now, Sunset, when they played against EDG and they dropped off the face of the earth, was, I think, again, EDG really doing a lot of prep work and counteracting what they were doing. For Lotus, as a third and final map between both of these teams, when Fnatic have already been faltering on it over the course of this tournament, and Sentinels themselves have been looking over and over again, improved every single time that they play it. It's a real interesting dynamic for me. This used to be the bread and butter for Fnatic. This used to be their hometown territory map, but now it's a different question being asked. And I think the form factor that you brought up, Yinsu, is absolutely valid. I don't think we'll see the same crumble from SEN. When you corner them, they're like a caged animal. They seem to just thrive in the pressure of the lower bracket.
Well, let's take a look at Agent Select here and see if we're going to see any changes. And for the second map in a row, Sideshow, both teams are going to stick to what they already played.
Both teams are going to have a good understanding of how each other play as well. We got Sentinels able to pick the side here, heading onto the decider. Attack is generally favored for Lotus. Look towards Zekken and what he can do on the pistol to see if he can build up a showstopper towards round 3. And also try to think about how these teams are navigating ult situations against each other, because they're both going to try to be thinking way ahead of the game. It's not as simple as we have showstopper, we go see. It's like, what are Fnatic going to be doing to stop us getting that online, and how do we then counter that? There should be layers and layers to this Lotus.
It's going to be a banger end to this entire series. It's elimination. This is your entire tournament life on the line, and the end of your year, you don't want it to end in a crash and burn finish. For both of these teams, it's so damn important.
It is indeed, Pansy, and still, of course, we have the Inspire Arena on the line as well. I can't wait to see which team is going to come out on top.
We are right there with you. It couldn't have been said better. Do you carry on to the arena? The roar of the crowd waiting, or do you fall here now, crashing, burning, year done, to bring one of the most fated rivalries between the two regions? To find now on Lotus, the final map. Map 1, a close Sunset, 13-11, SEN won it. Map 2, it started off pretty close, but then Fnatic took the reins. But here, Josh, it's anyone's game.
If there's a map to end it on, Lotus is the best one. The better team's gonna walk away from here. It's in both their teams' wheelhouses, and it was saved for last. Sentinels like those really pacey attacks on Sunset and also on Bind. Are they going to keep that same tempo going into this? C site open for the taking.
Killed my bot.
They got stalled out. That Viper Orb, that Paint Shells goes down. They can pivot if they need to. There's loads of time to work with, but they haven't explored the rest of the map yet. It's Chronicle. Had an insane performance last map on Bind. He is the one to defend on that A site behind Rubble. Boaster here to back him up. Paranoia as well, ready.
Out of all the players, he's the one you should be scared of. Shaking in your boots. But that shot wasn't clean, but Heroes was. Evades the C's, and Hero leans forward. Chronicle strikes, fighting back with Venom to it. Zelsis and John QT now have nowhere to step. The spike got lost deeper. They've lost down the players. The Sheriff in Zelsis' hand is really the only caveat that's on their side.
40 seconds left. Time's getting low. Turret watches B. And Alpha could actually position himself towards C if he wants to. The rest of his team playing that retake on A. They have the numbers, letting Sentinels go for the site if they want it. Durka on this jump spot. Said, don't worry, Boaster, I got this. 18 seconds left. And they've shown where they want to go. It's going to be so low in time by the time they can get anywhere, but Fnatic's just going to push out before they can get the spike planted.
Retake, Zelsis, there's a moment. The shine! It was then! He gets two, he tried everything he could, but Hero has his impact, he has his round, and Fnatic get the first.
Fnatic has been so good with these pistols. Chronicle saved them in the attack side of that Bind game, just popping off the heads of Sentinels here. And here, oh my god, Zelsis, he is so close. A pixel off that third kill, and potentially swinging that 2 versus 4 into a round win would have been a huge burst of just emotions and energy for these guys, because they look flat. They were looking so good, especially in that first half of Bind, in that later stage of Sunset, but it feels like they're kind of muted. We don't see them standing up. We don't see them excited. They need to get their confidence again. Durka already with that first pick off.
And Boaster almost disrespectful.
Spike down A.
Doesn't give them any of the space they'd like to have had, keeping them tamed. keeping them at arm's length. Ten's not finding any way to step forward, and the net's closing. Flanks on the way, and the spike once again left in a very similar place. Yeah, they've cut through towards B, but what are you meant to do?
This positioning's so tough. The Fnatic defense, just where they're positioned, it's in yeah, they're not getting cleared.
Enemy remaining.
And Fnatic have stamped their authority at the start here. This is, again, the first two maps just felt like a warning. This is now the war. It comes down to the final map here, and you're seeing the swing of the pendulum. Right now it's in Fnatic's hands, but we know what Sentinels can do. They can turn anything on a dime.
This round, a freebie for Fnatic. 5 classics up for Sentinels, signaling to us they want to have the strongest buy they can going into this next round, this round 3. Imperative for them to pick this up. Tournament life on the line. Fnatic looking so strong with these leads from these pistol rounds, but Sentinels fighting back shortly thereafter. Once they are able to find their footing, they can steamroll through. But right now, so many players from Fnatic are actually doing their jobs and doing well. And right now, for the other side of Sentinels, we see it on Zekken. We see maybe a little bit glimpses from John QT as well. But Zelsis has not really been there. Tens, he's had some moments, but a very slow start on that Sunset. We need to see these players start coming online. Because if it's not now, it's not this year. Defaulting, taking out that turret, getting some space on the map. Mound is next. They'll have C, they'll have mid. They'll be able to pivot between the two sites. But A, denied from Sentinels. They might want to come back and re-clear this. They have that Viper wall. They have the Prowlers if they need it. But Boaster, Chronicle, they've been there before. This time, Boaster and Durka to defend, and they've got that Odin. They've got the paint shells, and they've got the Paranoia. This is going to be expensive for Sentinels to get through. And if they can't make it through, funneled Viper Killjoy setup on C, it's going to be disastrous.
That's the first real bit of committed contact there.
Now the one-way's back up.
Feels unbreakable.
They can walk through with that shield from the Viper wall. But again, paint shells, Paranoia. And now back to C. 40 seconds left, Sentinels. They'll need to commit. This kill from Zelsis onto Hero is going to be the difference maker if Hero gives it up. But the orb, the mollies, the turret.
30 seconds left.
There's a lot to deal with 30 seconds to go. Zekken finds a little bit of safety. And he holds his breath and waits. You can already see the curiosity starting to close down. It's Chronicle to take away Tens. Now Alpha retaking the space. Takes a lot of damage. Zekken strides in, but Hero on the trade. Spike with a quick pivot. Zelsis playing ahead. That's huge. Can he buy enough time? Can he buy enough security? He's desperately trying to readjust on the Spike plant. It should be fine on the time. A 3v2 out of nothing. Maybe Sentinels finding their footing here. Boaster and Hero working their way around CT.
They have a little bit to work with. That smoke, a Prowler.
Cover going out.
They repositioned, but still the crossfire from the front of the site and the blue door. If Hero goes all the way around and secures this flank, if Boaster makes enough pressure for it, it could be the difference maker.
Last player standing.
Zelsis puts an end to it.
Zelsis, this round was his. You gotta say it. His earlier positioning, catching the rotation back from C. He did everything right for the side, and you wanted a bit more from him. He gave us a whole lot. Boaster gonna try and back away and keep the Odin in hand, but this round, in my eyes, was off the back of Zelsis. Bit of an unsung hero at times. Does so well here.
And Zelsis can get himself into the game on the front of being able to get kills, being able to find this impact, being able to call that audible and get his team rallied behind him. Then he's also going to start feeling it as well when he gets his team pumped off the back of that. When he starts standing up and starts shouting at the other team and starts getting his teammates involved emotionally, that's when Sentinels gets very scary. 5 kills at the end of last game on Brim. This game, he's already matched that on Killjoy, round 3.
There. But it was only a bonus.
It was.
Get back to reality, only a bonus. High quality, high tempo, sure. But a bonus nonetheless. Now into the buy. The Odin's still retained. That's in the hands of Chronicle this time around. And a very different setup. So Sentinels will have to try and navigate this new look to Lotus.
The Odin spam, so dangerous, so much damage has gone through here. Alpha picking up that first one through that Viper wall just to spam.
And it's Zelsis, Dreams crushed after such an impactful round. And they're sent packing again.
Durka jump spotting this C mound area, gets that refreshed one-way smoke. He's going to be able to get the information, peel away, stay alive. Boaster probably going to be in a position to use a paranoia to stall or anything. Durka cannot overextend here. He needs to make sure that whenever he sees these guys, he backs out and he plays his life. He needs to value it. Letting Sentinels fight back at another round here cannot be allowed to happen.
Boaster looking for a pixel. Anyone trying to cross through. Tens seems aware. Actually, the paranoia didn't land. Durka with a new lease of life. Counter paranoia. It may not be on, but Durka certainly is. Finds two. Answered back. Sight still under contest. Hero overwhelmed. And Zekken doing everything he can. Plant in play. Trying to make it happen. Good damage. Look at Alpha.
HP.
So low. Pop of the ult here. They need this plant in now. And it is.
Zoned away, respecting that showstopper, but Paint Shell still in play for Zekken. They can back out, they can reposition. Alpha down so low, and Chronicle full HP with that Odin.
Play retake with, but it's got to be traded off of Alpha, right? And for Sasi, 64, still sitting better off. Did he get spotted? He did! Alpha finds him! Zekken, though, can the man become a monster? It looks like he might be able to. 3 in this round, he needs 4! And where does he wait? Where does he guess? The gap closes, 15 HP. Paint Shell to the left. He looks. Oh! It's outstanding! It's perfect! And Zekken becomes the hero Sentinels needed.
Another round where Fnatic have the lead, and Zekken bounces back. He fights back, unleashed, and when he's able to get this showstopper off cooldown.
30 seconds.
Oh, Durka almost saved it for this team. If he was able to pick up a third kill, but if he killed Zekken there, because Zekken has been the difference maker. He's been this X factor. He's been on Raze here. He's been getting value with all of his abilities, and he's been getting the multi-kills for this team.
Game on now. Really back to the Buckies, huh?
A lot of Buckies.
All right,
2020?
Maybe. I mean, it's enough to kind of stop Sen. They're like, I don't really like what's around there. We talk about the pendulum swinging at the start. Well, it's right back in Sen's court, isn't it? The momentum shift. Could be right there, right then. And they're trying to not give away the Buckies, right? Using the classics to deal with the Prowlers, trying to keep this a little bit under lock and key.
But still, that's 2 Prowlers down just to get that information at B. They didn't even get the space off the back of it. They have that A control, probably. They have all of C mound. But Alpha, with his Bucky here, waiting to strike, to get one and leave.
Nah, wait, hero? Nah, okay, a nice try, but Sen keeping stable. This is good for them. Find the tempo, control the game. Nice Paint Shell. That could have done some damage, and it did actually. Durka dives in. Sen are heating up here, taking the lead now. Looking sharp. Fnatic, what's your answer?
I don't know if the Bucky purchases was the play. I've seen some of these players on Sheriffs. I've seen some of them on Stingers. You know, we don't really look at the EMEA for the Stinger fights, but it's been working for it. Teams like Fnatic, teams like Foot.
They have all the Buckies.
Right now, Sentinels takes that lead. Zelsis has his lockdown, and Zekken looks like he's in form at the moment too. So Fnatic, time for you to respond back, or you're gonna let Sentinels start bullying you on this attack side.
Ooh. Tens, so hungry for that kill. Wait, is he just
Odin spam as well.
I mean, they forced him out of tree, so takes the space he was given there. Chronicle relinquishing that control, slipping back towards the A site. And Hero's got to reset a touch too. The space the Ten's got is enough that has to be respected.
It's all 5 players for Sentinels towards this A area. Turret watching B first, Fnatic, Alpha on that jump spot still. But this positioning from Tens, he needs to back out of this now. He's been spotted. They need to at least activate that door to threaten that he's gone. He's actually going to back out of this. Haunt goes in, clears it, secures it. Chronicle back on that line with the Odin. Coming back to A, going to be very difficult. Going into B, that's what Sentinel's eyeing up. They have that lockdown for that post plant if they need it, but deciding, wait a minute, not the play we want to do. Let's go C, let's get that pressure onto B. Let's break that turret, force that reaction. If we get this lockdown, this post plant, we easily convert this round. Durka, he has a showstopper, and I've seen him run through smoke before. Is he going to do that again here to keep the pressure on? He's trying to get the paint shells off on the lockdown. He could cancel this. 23 seconds.
That might be enough. And now what do they do? Running low on time and running low on options. Dirk are going to be on defense. Trying to hold this down, hold the line, make them sweat. 10 seconds, where do you go? There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. They try and play forward. But the man himself holds them back. 3 in the round. And all their chances run away with the clock.
That was so well played from Fnatic there with that Odin spam, the reclears of the Prowlers and the Haunts, the indecision from Sentinels there, not knowing where they wanted to go. Did they want to go back to C? Did they want to go B? And so much time invested, wasted really, in that indecision. And Durka understanding exactly how he wanted to do that, the timing. He gets in front, he knows that they're waiting for the lockdown to activate, gets that paint shells off, blocks it. Now Sentinels has to push in, zones him out with that showstopper, and he's definitely, he stopped the show. He caused the timeout to come in from the side of Sentinels here. They, you know,
feels surprising.
Some rounds.
Considering, I mean, those string of rounds were pretty good from Sen, but maybe just something they've seen so far, or they don't want to let the game get taken away from them, but a 3-3 feels very early.
It wasn't really super clean for Sentinels, though.
That's
if we
true.
look back at this other round, Zekken got a 4K, ended up with that clutch. It started out in a 5 versus...
Zelsis having that impact. Yeah,
Zelsis was down. That was a 4 versus 5
Yeah.
conversion from them at that C site. Durka comes in the back, gets 2, but all the trades, Zekken, it really is kind of like a one-man show for him right now. Zelsis is right there behind him, but TenZ again, I have to reiterate, he's been quiet. Saucy, he had some rounds here and there, especially on Sunset at Tiles to get them in the game, and that one round that he got with that double pick off on Tiles probably was the difference maker in such a tight game like that. But here, they need to be all contributing. We're not seeing that. We see Fnatic contributing a lot. Durka had a really big impactful round there as well. Chronicle last game was all over them. But again, tournament life, and you picked attack. You better have picked attack for a reason. Early contact up B, 5 men, all in. They have that Viper's Pit. They can lock down one of the rotation points. And here they go, right in there.
Thought he might try and fly up towards CT there, but there were 2 waiting. Both trying to catch
No way.
on the backup, and it was Alpha to get Zekken there.
Waterfall
but they're taking a tour. Duck's
Yeah.
on 4 HP. Is he hearing this?
This could be a
Yeah,
huge
he's
Viper's
pinging
Pit.
it out. He's pinging it out, but John QT catching the flank as well, trying to give them time. Time to run, time to make it to the side, but they know there's still going to be players here. There's got to be. They find Durka, they do, and he is damaged. He is dead.
Boaster again.
Surely, Boaster, the saving grace of Durka, who could do no more. Where does Boaster go now? Okay, a 3v2. Saucy and John QT. Nightfall, Viper's Pit, a big couple of ulti, but they want to try and at least secure Mound. John QT gave it a glance, but that's going to force forward Boaster. Tries to maybe catch him in that. Doesn't get a connection.
Prowler and Haunt and a C's to follow as well. 1 HP on John QT and the Molly.
There's nowhere to run. There was nowhere to hide, but Saucy, this guy is legendary for a reason, and this might be a reminder. 2 in the round, he needs a 3rd. Chronicle was the king of bind. It doesn't matter now. Saucy saving Sentinels this round.
All you have to do is talk about a player and they show up. And a big round for Sentinels to climb back on. They lost those 2 first players. Boaster getting a spam kill through the smoke. And another fast play out of heaven to get that 2nd kill. Alpha, you thought right here for sure, 5 versus 3. How is Sentinels gonna get back into this? But they go all the way through spawn. They find those opening kills. Durka's so low, the crossfire broken, and the Viper's Pit. It was almost sealing the deal. Saucy picking them off.
They took 1 timeout and they look right back into it, but they might be taken out again. Zekken leads the fray, as does TenZ. They clear through Mount, and they're away. C-site should be under SEN control. Nothing can stop them now. We might need that counter timeout from Fnatic to re-establish their control in the game themselves. This is a 5v3, and they have no step towards the site.
Sentinels looking so strong right now, and this is when they look the scariest. When they start getting these rounds off the back of these clutches. The X Factor, Saucy, 1 versus 3. Zekken getting that big clutch before as well. Getting these swing rounds, forcing Fnatic onto these bad purchases. And then once they get these few rounds in the door, they kick up the speed. They find Fnatic. Durka, Bose are both out of the mound. Out of position. Now out of the round. Sentinels looking to pick up another round here. And the economy for Fnatic is getting low. It's dwindling down, and you're right. A timeout surely has to be called here.
Poison's off.
Chronicle just on a Spectre, and light shields. They're going to deal some damage here.
He'll do what he can, and he was going to give it up to the spike anyway, so takes a body with him. Not sure if that was his ult potentially there. I'll have to double check when Cron's going to get that in. But beyond that, I was expecting a timeout. He is one away, so is Alpha. But as it stands, it looks like we're carrying on here, waiting to see if we do see the brakes being pumped. But maybe Fnatic still have a feeling they've got a good read here.
Well played though, well played.
Josh.
Nice open on C, boys. You guys did great.
That's true. It was a good opening on C.
Yeah.
No timeout for Fnatic here. Maybe thinking that they still have control over the situation, but not even taking it to ice Sentinels. The way that their tempo is kicking up here, they're changing the pace of everything. They're catching the opening kills on Fnatic out in the open as well. You'd think maybe trying to put them on ice, slowing everything down, but that's not going to be the case. A little bit of fake pressure towards A from Sentinels. That C control already taken. The orb picked up. They could go straight into an execute if they want. Alpha and Chronicle to defend against this. They're both one off of their ultimates respectively. But already ready to do that execute. Sentinels is right at the entrance at the cusp.
No fear from Zekken. Now the fear of God put in by Chronicle, but he's going to be caught here. Does he get punished on this? No. Actually, an opportunity. Punishment on this C site continuing. Saucy not going to go for the plant just yet.
Chronicle left his ultimate. He doesn't want to get spammed there, and it's going to drop.
But the rotation is going to be in. So 5 players here, and there's only 3 on the site currently for SEN. As we can see the disconnect from John QT. He's got himself waiting for that flank potentially. Not the worst in the world, not a bad position to be in. Obviously, we know they don't. Tens looking to get active, looking to get involved. Takes away Hero, knows about Chronicle. The Prowler to the left, but the paranoia sends him away. Oh, but Tens, he won't fall. He stands his ground and he takes down another. And now down to Chron and Alpha, trying to play it back through. And now all down to Chronicle. He's in trouble. And you can see why. Tens reigning supreme on the site.
Sentinels starting to run away from this. Fnatic, you have to use your timeout. There needs to be a pause. Pump the brakes. Sentinels is getting away with everything they want to get. They're grouping as 5 and taking their timing. Right now, it's within the first 30 or 40 seconds of the round, some of these rounds that Sentinels is going in. I look back a few rounds ago, they got down, basically ran out of time. That's how Fnatic won around because there was so much indecision. But here, they walk up, they take the space. Once they have that space, it's so decisive. There's no question about it. We're going in, we're taking it. Even Zekken goes in, goes down first to Chronicle. Doesn't matter, they follow it up and they take the round.
And when we talk about swings and roundabouts and the confidence boost there, you heard it. Zelsis getting active, getting pumped up here, yelling at Tens as well. Get proud of what you're doing about it. This has been a big swing in momentum. Massive activation. Second back on the ult. And Fnatic's economy in shambles. Now remind yourself, to those playing at home, 3 to 6 in the squad is not so bad. I mean, 2 of those rounds were the pistol.
But reminiscent of that bind, right?
Yeah.
They got that pistol on that first half. It ended up not in their favor, 5-7, I believe it was. But they climb back. They get that second half pistol, and suddenly they're back in the game and run away with it. So making sure that you get every round here is so important. If you are on Sentinels, you have that showstopper. You're winning with the tempo. You're getting Fnatic on the ropes. Again, it's elimination. It's the last map of the tournament. If you lose, is this how you go out?
We'll find out.
Looking like a little bit of a fight towards A. Tens carries position, but the spike actually eyeing up that front B site. Potentially a split.
Oh, the tempo, you talk about it, and Zekken's living it! He saw nothing and still got 2. How are you meant to stop this guy?
Right now, you can't, but weapon in the hands of Alpha. Chronicle on that Sheriff as well, and that shift over to that A site. Sentinels is going there. They're going to go through that revolving door, but already Hero Alpha on that site, potentially being able to isolate some fights here. It all starts with the first kill.
Yeah, pre-fire on it. He's already been forced away. It's on Alpha, who tries to swing, but Sassy too aware. Tens now in unison with Zelsis.
Spike down A.
They've claimed control of the site, and a 1v3 required for Chronicle. To try and dismantle all three of these would be monumental. One on tree, one on site, now two. How are you going to divide that?
Maybe saving is in his best interest at this point. It was a low econ round for Fnatic. They took that timeout. They talked about the plan. It wasn't for this round. It's for this next round coming up. How are they going to deal with everything that Sentinels is throwing at them? Sentinels, again, another quick round. Within the first 30 seconds, 40 seconds, they are making their hit. They're going straight into Fnatic's faces.
Toxins going up.
Kill one enemy remaining. Nice try. Couldn't quite keep the weapon though. And the money's just fine for Sen. 7 rounds now, Josh. This is the tilting point. I don't think that 3 would be enough, and that's all that he saw and was still able to get both. That is, what a player. What a goddamn player. But now, Josh, this is the changing point, isn't it? It's game on, or it might be game over. 3 is such a small margin. And you feel like one of the Sen players will give you a round or two, so you can't bank on that.
We look at these teams, we look at the structure and the methodical nature of Fnatic. We see Sentinels relying on that individual prowess, that X factor, being explosive and running with that momentum. We're seeing a perfect example of it right here, stealing this game away off the back of 2 huge swing round clutches. The first was Zekin, the second was Saucy. And now with a 4-round lead, potentially looking, eyeing up that 5th round lead. Fnatic, even with that pistol, are trailing. Sentinels.
Is this the perfect fake?
This is, well, they slowed right down, right?
I love
Usually they
this.
would be hitting by now. Boaster on the jump spot. He's gonna get this info. Don't overstay your welcome, though.
He's got it back here. They've been constantly crushing that C site in the buy rounds, but now they start to lean back towards A. The Nightfall there. Boaster is going to be caught up in this. There's no evading that. Oh, and he gets punished! Zekin slicing through the site. That's going to be a plant. That's 5 alive. That's a lot of util as well still to play through. Paranoia with Tens, the smoke when he feels like it. Sassy with all of the kit. And on the other side, the showstopper for Durka. Hero potentially could get his ult here if he can get a kill. But they're hold strong on the side. Sentinels want safety. They want the numbers for that second half. They want 8 rounds. Anything less may not be enough, but Alpha going to set it into motion. Taking away Zekin, the spam comes in towards Tree. It's where all the 3 players from Sen are currently sitting. One slightly disconnected is Zelsis, but they take over the site, and Durka takes the kill. John QT standing tall for Sentinels, finally put down by Durka for the 1v1. And the time is too low. Surely there's no more. There isn't. It's 8 rounds for Sentinels, and Fnatic are on the ropes.
Sentinels is unstoppable right now, going through, following through with their plans, and despite Fnatic's best efforts, they're caught out of position. Boaster can't retreat in time. Zekin, he's just too quick with these satchels. Every time they want to go somewhere, Zekin is in there, and he's only been put down a couple of times, but instantly gets that space, and his teammates flood the site. Fnatic, they haven't been able to catch their breath yet. The back of that timeout, 2 round losses in a row.
Reality of the situation setting in. 4 rounds is the most that Fnatic can now achieve. Sentinels eyeing up at point. Just salt in the wound. They haven't got a grip on this half. Sentinels have outplayed them. Their attacking sides have been gorgeous. They look to pressure the A site early this time. No fake to be had, but Zekin leading the fray. A dangerous man through and through. Backs away, takes a moment of respite as Fnatic reset towards the site.
It's a big stall. This timing, Sentinels has been hitting the actual site in all the previous rounds for the last 7 or so rounds, but now less than a minute left. They have that A space, but they need to reclaim C mound first before they do their next action. Info coming in from Boaster. Spots just the Viper. I don't think he sees Zekken on that raise, so might think it's just a lurk. Might reaffirm them to stay towards C. Here comes the lockdown, but this is a fake. Paint shells to stop it. In position is Durka again. Now that's blocked, but
Ooh, hold on.
Connect. But it's just a fake.
Left.
It's towards A still, and Hero's actually bolstering up that A site. Is it going to be a pivot back through that blue door into B as soon as they get spotted here? 20 seconds remain.
Dirk is here though, but yeah, he's still out of position. Boaster goes down. They've unlocked the keys to the castle. Do they expect Chronicle? It doesn't matter. Sentinels striding through the site. Time, 10 seconds. Hero, Durka working together. Desperate to hold on to this. Desperate for a chance. And Sassy is the one to stand in their way. Oh my god, the time. The time. Does he get it?
No ammo!
Bullets! That's how it's defined. That's how close this game is. At 8-4. You couldn't ask for a better half for Sentinels. They'll be happy with that. For Fnatic, their work starts now. This is the time to turn it around. As we take a glance back through this, but coming up in a moment's time, we even get to check in with Meteor in a moment to understand the trials and tribulations of these sort of situations. But what a beautiful game we've got to witness. And there's only one more half to go.
Hello everyone, I'm joined by a very special guest today, Genji's Meteor. Meteor, how have you been? I saw you went on a trip recently. 오늘 하프타임 아주 특별한 손님, 젠지의 메테오 선수 만나보겠습니다. 최근에 좀 어떻게 지내셨어요? 최근에 여행도 좀 다녀오셨던 것 같았는데.
일단 본가 가서 친구들도 좀 만났고 이제 못 본 부모님도 좀 만나고 왔고 그리고 랭크 열심히 하고 있습니다.
You know, I got to spend time with my friends and family, and I've been playing a lot of rank. 그리고, and also this color shirt today, I want to ask, if I may, who are you rooting for? 오늘 옷색 혹시 누구 응원하러 오신 건가요?
사실 DRX 경기를 보러 왔는데 첫 번째 경기도 재밌을 것 같아서 놀러 오게 된 것 같습니다.
You know, I actually came to watch the second match with DRX, but you know, today's game, it's been fun, so I'm just here to watch. And you know, I think you might have some words that you want to say to Sentinels, so let me just ask. 혹시 센티넬에게 한마디 가능하신가요?
일단 우리를 이기고 올라갔으니까 좀 더 높은 곳으로 올라갔으면 좋겠고 우승은 DRX가 해야 되니까 준우승 했으면 좋겠다.
You know, you guys beat us, so I hope you guys make it far, but the trophy is DRX's, so let's just end it right there. All right, that was Genji's Meteor for the halftime interview, and let's go back to Lotus.
Great to hear from Meteor there, but 8-4, we focus back up. Josh, plenty to be said and not a lot of time to do it, but where is your mind going with one half remaining?
Fnatic have looked good with pistols. That's the silver lining in the situation. Facing off elimination against Sentinels here on the third map of Lotus. One of Fnatic's stronger maps, but pointing out how it's one of their stronger maps, they usually have a 60% win rate on their defensive rounds. Right now, they got 4 rounds out of those 12. So needing to dig deep and pull something out of this attack side. We know that they like to start slow, feel out the situation, but Sentinels, they're feeling good. They're feeling confident. They're ready to take some fights, and they've won the big clutches all game so far. Fnatic, they need to start getting some big clutches of their own.
Can they activate?
Very slow start, and Sentinels is having this read towards A. They got that turret to watch B from heaven and ready to play that retake on C. They better have a really good plan because right now, Fnatic's pivoting back into that C site. They got the double smokes online right now, one for Waterfall, one for Spawn. Boombot, paint shells, everything they need to go in here. Boaster's so afraid of a trap through that revolving door. They haven't cleared B. There's nothing there. It's like fear, paranoia. Sentinels not budging yet after all this noise. Doesn't matter. The walk into the site, Haunt to clear that elbow angle, and They're going to get into the site. They're going to get that spike planted. It's all about how they approach this retake because Sentinels, they're giving them the site. They have to have a plan here. They have all their abilities. How is Fnatic going to deal with it? Because they still have Paint Shells and Paranoia. They can make a really good plan and jam them up in Waterfall and Spawn. Right now, playing a little bit too standard potentially.
Yeah, and actually opting to go back towards site itself. So no one slipped back towards Mound, just leaving the turret towards it. The Prowler goes towards CT. That gets at least a slight connection. They now know that they're getting towards this. 3 through Waterfall, 2 through CT. It's Sassy to start it off. Taking down Hero and Durka now blinded. Put to the corner and dealt with by Second. Another step taken. The HP dwindling. Sentinels. This could be the first nail in the Fnatic coffin. Oh, and it's just flawless.
Flawless round for Sentinels, a pistol round, and starting to dig a deeper grave for Fnatic to sit in because right now, not even a single kill from the side of Fnatic. They knew the retake was coming. Fnatic, they had their abilities, the Paint Shells, the Paranoia, but they don't have the positioning, they don't have the crossfires, they're not communicating, they're not getting the trades, they're not even getting a single kill, let alone a trade.
Let's go! Let's go!
True.
Yeah, 4-9, another step. Double digits just feels so oppressive to face down.
Cover going out.
And a Bucky, a Sheriff, and a fast entry into B. Durka's in their faces. They can get the spike planted, but they need to do a better job than last round.
Yeah, but it's so difficult with these weapons. Like, what are they meant to do? They can try and play the choke points, play, you know, a little bit close here, try and catch someone out of place, but you're not catching Sen right now. They're catching you. Sassy gonna find Chronicle. Hero tries to lean forward, gets caught by the Paranoia, and nearly punished. But the plant gonna come down now. And barely damage done towards Sen as they slowly step back towards that B site. Sen's the first one who might have an issue though. There's 2 players over towards that blue door. Sassy going to alleviate some of the pressure. Durka looking to be rewarded, and he is. Turns around, leaves the weapon over towards his teammate. The flood comes in. Exchange of space. Now they're locked out towards blue door. What are you meant to do with this? 4v2. They're locked off. They're smoked off. They are screwed, and they have to watch as the defuse comes on in. There is no escaping their fate. 10 rounds for Sentinels.
Sentinels is starting to run away with it. The same sort of confidence and we saw in that first map of Sunset is coming back in full force right now. They're firing in all cylinders. Fnatic, they don't have an answer. They're trying to switch up their game plan, getting down and dirty, a fast tempo into B, getting into their faces, trying to, you know, play a scrappy round out. But that's not working. You can't out-scrap the Scrap Masters.
Buy against the bonus. 2 Bulldogs Guardian. Oh, where the hell was that?
Spam through tree onto A main, and the smokes are gone for Fnatic. Just that Viper wall remains. And trying to break through. There's 3 defenders here.
Sentinels just getting stronger and stronger. It feels like the bigger the challenge, the better they get. But for now, they still have to work with lesser weaponry. It is rifles with Fnatic up against Stingers, Sheriffs, Bulldogs. And now that Guardian did pretty well, but it's the numbers, Josh. 3 of them on the site alone.
Just recycling that Viper orb. This first contact kill is pivotal. Durka doesn't get it.
No, but
Hero.
John QT will. That's the spike. Oh, it couldn't be anywhere worse. As now they can control it, temper it. And it feels just like a death funnel through there. What are you meant to do?
Slow motion train wreck happening here. The recycling of these, the crossfire that they have.
They can't do
34
anything.
seconds, Fnatic.
They are watching their tournament life be drawn away from them second by second. It will be 11 if Sen convert this, which looks exceedingly likely. And it's an excruciating death for Fnatic here. That spike is the downfall. There is no recovering this. And the round will fade away.
10 seconds
and so will a lot of Fnatic's hopes on this one.
Sitting there, they had Paint Shells ready, they had Paranoia ready. There was no getting through Fnatic. Chronicle.
Does he live? He does.
Sentinel's not looking to punish, but getting so close to that 12th round scoreline. Fnatic. Oh, not finding any opening kills here. In fact,
that's it.
Just a few spam bullets.
So nasty.
By the way, I was practicing the spam in ranked yesterday.
True. Well done.
Hey, it works out.
But we look at Sentinels here. They're all contributing now. This is the main point from the previous games. They weren't. And on the other side, Fnatic, where are you guys at?
Need to wake up. Need to stand tall. Or it falls to pieces. And all is forgotten throughout the year. The recency bias is pretty huge in Valorant, and this one is going to be telling. Fnatic made a great run of things with Hero. They've looked as good as they could be. But this might be where they falter. This might be where they fall. 12 could be placed on that board after this round.
Oh, not again!
He's just repeating these nightmares over and over, and 10's at the helm. Zelsis ready and waiting. Reading it
Catch them.
so easily. Not looking phased now.
Bomb grenade out.
And they let them take a little bit of space, but there's no security behind it. There's no safety here.
4v5.
Spike
We've seen
planted.
Sentinels win these types of rounds constantly this series. Fnatic, they haven't. Their post plants, even with 5, haven't looked too hot. Right now, Durka and Hero in that heaven, trying to disrupt the retake a little bit. Sentinels taking their time, making sure they're moving together. Now they're grouped, now the retake comes in.
And it's almost an extended bonus. Anything is a benefit in this sort of round, and for Fnatic, it's a must-win. The scales tilted against them. Sussy goes down, it's getting Chronicle. Taking them away, step by step, maybe a chance made here, but Sentinels fighting back in! Durka dies, wait the timing! He's got the defuse! He's absolutely got the defuse! And that is how Sentinels get to 12!
I got nothing to say. That is just so well played by Sentinels, taking their time, confident. They're not afraid at all to wait and take their time in that retake. That first kill opening it up, made it a 5 versus 4, makes it a little bit easier, but not going too fast, not tripping over themselves, and their patience pays off there. Fnatic fall again.
Just give me, let me keep using the Guardian. I'm just spamming these people.
These people. Not even Fnatic, not humans, barely at this point, just these people. Last chance to dance here for Fnatic. This is it. This is the timeout. 4 rounds is all they could gather. Sentinels look on fire, on form, and poised to carry on. The last signs of life will be either brought back here for Fnatic or fall. That's the simplicity of it. And Sentinels have the money. They got the players. They're in the right place, the right time. Everything is ready. Can we stick the landing, Josh? Do you believe in miracles here? Because Fnatic are going to need something of that ilk.
The one thing that is going in the favor of Fnatic right now is going to be this timeout. So their IGL Boaster, camera on him right now. He was first to fall to a Guardian spam from Tree Room. Back-to-back rounds. That's going to affect you when you're trying to make decisions, when you're trying to stay clear-minded about what you want to do, how you want to play out these rounds. And especially in these mid-rounds when you have to pivot, having someone else be able to come in, reset it, give you some direction is going to be important. The counter spam is the play, but Zelsis is sitting here ready. It's going to be a spam battle.
This could be the defining moment. How does it come through over towards A? Who walks away so far? Mostly unscathed. But Zelsis will hold this down. You can hear it on the other side. A little bit of chip towards Durka, but that's it. Control over towards Mound, and we do have the first blood drawn. 10's falls this time. Alpha will be checked on. They now know at least a couple of the positions here. But it's 4 players for Sentinels. And Zelsis looking a little like an immovable object here. How do you get him off of this position? 4 players from Sentinels in the right place. Fnatic trying to fight back, but they are slowly trailing towards this A site. And Zekken waiting, almost caged behind that door. When do you unleash him? You do it now! You take away Chronicle and suddenly you're back to a 4v4. There's problems left, right. Zelsis takes him away and now down to 3. Man advantage to SEN. Alpha from the back lines fighting back. Takes away John QT.
40
no
seconds
plant.
left.
Where do they go?
3 versus 3, no space really taken from these guys. They've spotted most of these players on the defense, but they're going to run themselves out of time. Fnatic so indecisive in these moments, but they have to make a final decision and end somewhere. Enough time past Sentinels is actually over-rotating to C, and Fnatic's going to find an open site.
Okay, plant's going to be in. Now we look at the post plant. How much space are they willing to take? Trying to establish some utility, and the TP is here.
Info. Realizes it's not close.
Nothing.
Oh, he sticks it. But now he knows, hey, they're not spawned yet, which means they over-rotated.
Careful
flanking. Yep.
You're calling these positions out now, but with Zekken standing, there's danger, there's threat, as with Zellsis, as with Sarsi.
The turret, the alarm bot, the smoke at the front of the site, the crossfire. Fnatic.
Done and clear.
This is looking good for them.
A chance made. But Sentinel step by step, closing in, now down to 2, Hero, a poster, but Zellsis, one by one, taking them away as Poster has to try and save him, and it's an absolute nightmare in the making. Diffuse is in, no way! Look at the time!
0.15. And Poster, he misses his first shot, but realizes time is so low. If I get the diffuser right now, they might not be able to get on it in time. That target selection, that choice to switch.
No way. Show me that moment again. The ability to do that in a moment like this. If he didn't get that kill, the round's done. The year's done. That's the difference. That is what kept Fnatic alive.
If there's a comeback, and it's because of that.
Was it all for nothing though? Was this just glimmers of hope? Who knows? But I'm enjoying finding out. TenZ, this is an iconic position for this man. I get scared when I see TenZ here. No one can really help him in that, so they now know he is towards this.
He's chilling. He's got paranoia. He can teleport away if he needs to. He refreshes that one-way smoke. Fnatic denied that A main control. He knows that the defense is there. And Fnatic actually come back. They're taking towards B. They're taking the spike towards C. So potentially trying to connect through Waterfall, otherwise hitting that revolving door and hitting C. But right now, the defense from Sentinels, they have 3 players in this position. They're ready to pivot. Zekken ready to fight B or A. He's been so crucial for these guys all series. Fnatic, 5-man group, 45 seconds left, no ultimates. And Saucy in position with Nightfall as well. The mollies, the alarm bot. It's a fortress that they have to break through right now. Fnatic, if they don't pivot back to B, they're going to lock in their traps.
Zellsis, are you going to be their downfall? No!
Wait.
Chronicle strides in, kicks down the door. John QT, the difference maker before. Eyeing it up now, trying to stand his ground. 20 seconds, smoked off by Waterfall. Maybe Fnatic have done enough to control the site.
15
Paint
seconds
shell
though.
posted, they got to be cautious here. That plant isn't for free, they're trying to test this. TenZ gonna open the door, swing it. Boaster, big impact, finding 2, plants in play. TenZ and John QT. Are you up for this? 2 low players, maybe 3 you could argue. And it's TenZ, and it's John QT. You give them credit, you give them their respect. They are a terrifying duo. But right now, they're being toyed with. No time to make mistakes. As TenZ leans in. Oh my God, is this how it goes? Is this truly how it falls away? TenZ desperately at the helm trying to do this. 5 bullets to play with, and not enough. Chronicle, lifeline made. 6 rounds.
It's so scary to start talking in those moments, because when I look at that, it can still go either direction.
Oh yeah, coin
Sentinels, even a man down multiple times so far, they're able to, with their patience, their slow retake, finding their way into the site. Fnatic, they're just not doing a good enough job of playing off of each other and covering all the holes and being able to trade off of each other. That got a little bit scary, and Sentinels actually going to take a timeout here. Yeah. They have the lead, they have the momentum going forward. It's only 2 rounds that they just lost here. Actually, they picked them up, they got to that 12th round, but Fnatic fighting back a little bit. Lockdown, Viper's Pit. Both sides have Viper's Pit. Kaplan decides, hey man, if I'm gonna have a timeout and talk before the series ends, now's the best time.
Yeah, this is the thing, and it's why you hold your breath to the very last second, or even less if you're talking about that diffuse. Both these teams have that capability to pick up a gear, right? Fnatic have that, we've seen it in the past. Sentinels are made by that, it feels like. No matter the odds, no matter the score, there is always a chance. So with these players, how do you play perfectly against a team like Sentinels? To not get one-rounded, you know what I mean? That one round where you'll have John QT clutch up, or maybe it'll be Tens this time, or Zekken, you list the whole team. I don't know how Fnatic can continue walking this path that's so precarious.
The problem is, even if Fnatic does make every correct decision, even if they do play perfect, it comes down to shooting and a big battle and a big war. And right now, some of the Fnatic players have not been connecting some of their shots, whereas Sentinels, they've been doing a pretty good job of winning out their duels. The last time out Sentinels took round 7, they got 5 rounds in a row off the back of it.
You'd imagine apprehension at an all-time high for Fnatic. No mistakes allowed, no missteps.
Tens with the economy for a Vandal or an Odin, chooses the Guardian, tries to get more spam kills or at least chip damage. Comes the Viper's Pit at C. It's gonna put them off of it, but Fnatic, 4 players towards A, looking to take this control at tree.
You've got to try and get Tens forced away from here. Revealing his new position, he has stepped further back.
Again, I look at this lockdown, I look at this Viper's Pit. If this is a B hit, this lockdown could be so devastating for Fnatic. It looks like they're eyeing that up. Alpha already at middle, ready to go. And enough pressure. He's pulled the rotation into A site. Zelsis, he doesn't care. He's gonna let them have the site. Plant, I don't care. I use my lockdown here. He's gonna flush you out. There's nothing that can stop him.
Okay, lockdown now. Plant in. What do they do with this? They can still live in the Viper's Pit if they just push through towards CT, but there's 3 players and they can spam this the hell out. It is going to be the battle of Spawn breaking out now, and second is the Warrior who's just ripping apart Fnatic. Limb by limb they fall, and this is what it comes down to, a 1v5, a desperate attempt, and the defuse will be there. The roar of the crowd reserved for the special few. And Sentinels is that team.
Coming into the series, I was not expecting Sentinels to be playing as strong, well gelled together, not against a team like Fnatic that is so known for being able to set the tone of the match, deny all this, everything from happening, and they look so elated right now, getting past this obstacle, this barrier.
And the rivalry will continue. I think it's the best way to put it, and something that true Valorant fans will always look forward to when these 2 teams meet. A wonderful series, 3 maps. I'm so pleased we got a fantastic series here between the both of them. And Fnatic, they gave it their all. I think we can say that fairly. Chronicle, I mean, the guy had a world-class series on Bind. Sunset was down to the wire, 11-13. A valiant attempt from the Fnatic side with a stand-in, with a young player who has to walk against the likes of Sentinels, who came out today and looked a step above.
The Fnatic, they were really strong in stage 2, going all the way in playoffs. They haven't shown the same amount of strength. Sentinels, on the other hand, taking out first round, that knockout round of the playoffs. They squeak by in that group of death. People don't expect them to get by.
True.
They make their way over here, and they do it in style. They show so much strength here. Sunset, who saw that coming? Bind, no problem. Get to Lotus, and they just blow them out, 13-6.
You have to be so proud if you're a Sentinels fan, if you've been watching them the entire way. It feels like no matter the odds, they have that depth, and they show it time and time again. The more you doubt them, the stronger they look. And they made it out of the group of death. They put Fnatic to theirs, and they live to fight another day. A real stark contrast here of the highs and lows of competition like this, but it's the beauty of the game. It's truly what we're all here for. Seeing these teams stretch and push, get stronger, better. And this is just a perfect example of that, Josh.
As we get deeper in the tournament, we're going to see the teams that lose their steam fall off. Sentinels, not one of those teams right now. It looks like they're getting recharged, rejuvenated. The deeper they go and the more difficult it is to get through these next rounds.
The stronger they get.
The stronger they get.
It just blows my mind to watch these boys play. What an absolutely beautiful series of Valorant. And a little bit of a treat for you playing along at home. You don't want to go anywhere. Obviously, there's another game coming up today, but we also get to check in as well. For the Verizon post-match interview, we have Sassy standing by. You want to hear this.
Hello everyone, it's Bella with the post-match interviews. I'm joined by Sentinel Sassy. Congratulations, Sassy.
Thank you.
Oh my god, what a game. I'm so nervous from it. 센티넬의 사시 선수 인터뷰 먼저 만나보겠습니다. 어제 못 봤던 승리의 맛을 오늘 푸나틱을 상대로 가져가게 됐는데 인스파이어행 티켓을 거머쥐게 된 승리 소감부터 묻도록 하겠습니다. You guys showed resilience today, shook off yesterday's loss, took that win against Fnatic, and now you're off to Inspire. How's that feeling?
Feel amazing, to be honest. I mean, I'll be honest, this is a Sentinel's way, you know. We always take the hard path, and we did great today. I'm really proud of the boys, of the team, the coaching staff. They did a really good job. And yeah, I'm so happy that we're finally going to the Inspire Resort.
당연히 너무 기분 좋고요. 오늘 이렇게 경기를 하게 된 게 이게 뭔가 센티넬의 방식 같다고 항상 어려운 길을 이렇게 쭉쭉쭉 겪어오면서 오늘 진출을 하게 됐고 물론 코칭 스태프들한테도 너무 감사하다는 이야기를 하고 싶고 우리 팀원들한테도 너무 자랑스럽다고 이야기를 하네요. 그리고 사시 선수의 폼이 되게 매 경기마다 좋아지고 있는데 이전에 트로피를 한번 들어본 경험이 좀 도움이 되고 있는지 한번 물어보도록 하겠습니다. You know, your form is getting better every day with each match. And do you think like you get that extra umph in champions because you know you've been there, done that already?
I mean, I'm used to it for sure. Like, I'm experienced. It's my third champion already. And you know, I've lifted the trophy before, and I know the feeling. And now I really hope that my teammates has the same feeling as well.
오케이. 당연히 너무 익숙한 감정이라서 뭐 챔피언스를 세 번째 이렇게 하고 있으니 나는 이미 어떤 느낌인지 우승하는 맛을 알기 때문에 우리 팀원들도 느꼈으면 좋겠다라고 이야기를 했습니다. 그리고 제가 들었을 때 센티넬이 16시간씩 연습하면서 카플란 감독님의 공장에서 벗어나질 못하고 있다 이야기를 했었는데 이제 좀 오늘 이겼으니 좀 드디어 좀 나 탈출을 할 수 있는지 물어보도록 하겠습니다. You know, 16 hours scrimming, and do you think with this win, do you think you can finally get a break from Kaplan's chocolate factory?
Not really. I mean, the only break that we have is like one day to go to the resort. That's it. But when we get there, we'll make sure that we're gonna practice. You know, I mean, Cap always put a lot of works, and he make us work a lot as well. But it's been working, and we are here.
Maybe the break after.
I mean,
winning.
the break after, yeah. But I don't want to think about after now. I want to be in the present.
이제 사실 휴식기가 하루밖에 없었기 때문에 뭐 오늘 이겼다고 해도 이제 카플란 감독님이 좀 연습을 많이 시키는 편이기 때문에 이제 다시 연습을 임할 거라고 이야기를 하네요. 그리고 제가 그럼 끝나면 좀 브레이크가 생길까 물어봤는데 지금 브레이크 갖는 거 생각하고 싶지 않고 그냥 지금 매 경기에 임할 거라고 이야기를 했습니다. 센티넬의 사시 선수 인터뷰 만나봤습니다. Thank you, Sassy. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
All right, that's it from us here, but we'll be back after the break to see DRX taking on Team Heretics.
There is a lot of history between these two organizations, and somehow every time they meet, the stakes are always high.
Sassy sends out Dizzy. John QT, the lurk comes in perfectly. As Alpha left in a 1v4, he's been found. You can't get the follow-up on Boaster. Speaking about fragging IGLs, it's Boaster at the helm this time.
Right, I'm in the market. I'm going shopping, bruv. And what's on the menu? Sentinels.
How are you meant to persuade the players on the site? You can't when Tense does that. The camera comes up. They want to get it towards half.
Tense.
They might just do it. But Tense, the bully of the big boys, afraid of no one, shuts out map 1, 13 to 11. And it is all going to be down on timing. Tense completely unawares. Spots a pixel against the body.
Late ball and a fast retake.
Chronicle on the swing, and he hits. 1v5. This would be monumental.
Wait.
Oh my God! It's halfway though. He has to go. He has to swing, and he falls. Do we go for the firing squad? I'm still a little nervous here. Okay, Durka. And it looks like this is what it comes down to. And it's over. Map 3 is unlocked. Can the man can become a monster. It looks like he might be able to. And where does he wait? Where does he guess? The gap closes 15 HP. Paint shell to the left. He looks. Oh! It's outstanding!
Let's go, Zach!
There's nowhere to run, there was nowhere to hide, but Sarsi, this guy is legendary for a reason. Sarsi saving Sentinels this round. Take them away, step by step, maybe a chance made here, but Sentinels fighting back in. He's got the defuse. The roar of the crowd reserved for the special few. And Sentinels is that team.
She's so fucking high. 저승사자보다 더 발라. Ryan on your Bravo, you can't see me feel like showing shit. Ghost Rider, how cute I feel, bitch. Alright, these big shit got over on. I got a big kid, put it in shit got over on. It's like double Joe shit got over girl. I feel this mission big shit got over girl. Shit got over girl.
Life is a series of choices, reciprocating the loud voices, it's perpetualizing on the
나 이거 시작한 지 언젠지 하도 힘을 주고 있더니 지금도 뻐근한 내 어깨 내가 지금 뱉고 있는 가사는 대체 뭘 위한 건데 모를 거야 난 평생 내 선생 또 선배는 너를 정내 플레이리스트에 남들과 좀 다른 게 들어왔지 눈에 투면 내 same thing 비슷해 보이는 것 빼고 골라서 선택 It is the mistake For the cash, for the fame 관심 없어 난 내 가사에만 몰입해 계속 work on 믿었어 그럼 따라온다고 잔스레 근데 항상 따라붙는 조바심 내 버릇이 잡아먹는 강박 내 목소리를 팔아 나 남들 다 하는 얘기 말고 진짜 내 living life 다 끝내 눈 감아 뭐 접어 그 전까지 날 붙잡고 있는 것은 다름 아닌 사랑 is love What is love I don't know
Welcome back to day 5 of the Champions Tour playoffs and our final match at the COEX Atrium. It is going to be Team Heretics versus DRX. I'm your host Yingsu and I'm joined once again by Bren and Sideshow. We're going to be here forever. This is going to be a 3-mapper, let's be honest.
It feels like it. I mean, we just came off an incredible match, and I think this one proves like it should be very similar as well.
Yeah, I think you've got two teams that have strengths in different areas. DRX have an incredibly wide map pool, I feel like, in terms of what they've showed so far, at least. And Heretics, they come into these matches with tons of preparation. They usually get off to strong starts with pistol round wins. I think if anything is to show from that first series, it's going to be explosive.
Yeah, of course. These two teams, they've never met. I think partially DRX's fault this year and partially Heretics' fault in the previous years as well. But what a moment for them to meet, though, in the lower bracket like this.
Absolutely. I mean, Team Heretics are the team that has that more recent pedigree of getting super deep, and yet DRX, they've previously, with the former roster, been able to get top 3 results at Champions too. And this rookie team of DRX now trying to match that. A win today would be top 4 for either squad. I think Heretics are more expected to do it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will by any means.
Exactly. I mean, they have the benefit of that experience of making it to the finals before. They know that they've set their mark just ever so deeper into the tournament. They can almost see the finish line in their sights. But DRX are also going to be gunning for a deeper finish themselves as well. And I mean, with the rookies on the stage, they don't really look like rookies.
They don't indeed, for both sides, I feel like. But let's talk about Heretics, because again, how on earth, Brent, did they even drop into the lowest bracket in the first place?
They have been so impressive to me, I think, all series, like all tournament long in terms of that preparation, what I was talking about. But I think Leviathan is one of the worst teams stylistically to match up against, because I feel like most of the strengths you can apply for Leviathan comes from King's mid-rounding and calling, adaptations that the team cooks up, and it's not so much in terms of what they're bringing in ahead of time. Heretics, I think, love teams that they can potentially anti-strat, teams that they can come out of the gate swinging with a pistol round win, and Leviathan are not going to give you that. Leviathan are going to give you heroic moments to upset the middle of rounds, and King's going to give you that adaptation and good calling over the course of a series the longer it gets.
What we're watching right now, though, is Team Heretics at the end of a 7-round loss streak, allowing Leviathan to run over them. And that's what worries me a little bit, is that in this game, it felt like Heretics were not being disruptive. They weren't finding their moments to cook up ideas. They were just trying to play for retake and allowing Lev all of the space. They need to be more proactive and take control of the game today.
It was so close, though. It's a painful way to drop into the lowest. But on the other side of this, DRX, they came off the back of a win. And you guys mentioned already some of these rookies, how they are doing. I just can't believe there are players who have even less experience at this point than the rookies on Heretics.
Absolutely. And when you look at both of these rookie teams, what you're seeing is DRX just came off a fantastic victory. I mean, they slaughtered Trace. And so you got all of these rookie players with their moments of greatness, whereas Heretics are coming off a 24-hour turnaround of being put into pressured spots and underperforming and having to reset their mentality. So even though these two teams are at the very same point in the bracket, there's actually a very different look as to their recent emotions on stage.
Yeah, and I think a lot's going to be asked of the supportive staff, the coaching staff on Heretics to turn that around. As well as that, I mean, listen, it's a hard ask, but they have been in deeper spots before. They've made it all the way. They know that they can go the distance in tournaments on the international level. They've done it prior. It's all about, I think meeting their own expectations in that regard, but mentality being a big factor for these rookie players, because we have seen glimpses of it. Like you said, they got ran over towards the tail end of the Lev series.
Yeah, and there's one rookie player I feel like on this server today who has always maintained that positive attitude. That is, of course, Benji Fishy. So let's check in with him and hear what he had to say to Kakuka ahead of this match.
I'm here now joined by Benji Fishy. First of all, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good, ready, slept well, ate some good food, so yeah, feeling very good.
Okay, so back in Shanghai, we saw you converting the home crowd and probably give you a huge buff. Do you think that you will need it? Because today you have to go up against the hometown favorites.
I don't think we'll need it. I mean, we played against 3 Chinese teams in Shanghai. I think that's as crazy as it can get. Obviously, you know, I feel like we've kind of built a bit of an Asian fan base now, which I'm happy about. But we don't care. You know, we don't care about if the audience is against us. I feel like we play better. So yeah, I don't really mind.
Okay, love that. You know, 2024 is the year of the rookies, right? You would know that, especially coming from your team. But on the other side, there's also some very good rookies playing for DRX. Why do you think they have found such success this year?
I feel like rookies are kind of just more hungry. I feel like the older you get, kind of the less motivation. You know, you actually kind of had to start living your life maybe, apart from just gaming all the time. But, you know, 20-year-olds, all you have to do is focus on gaming. So I think that's probably why.
Well, I feel like a 20-year-old. Best of your luck. Best of the luck for you, Ganji.
Honestly, Benji can't relate, can't relate. But the thing with him, though, is he says he doesn't care about the home crowd and so on. But if you watch their vlogs, they have all collectively said, we just don't want to come second again. They are sick of it. They want to win.
Yeah, I mean, but when you're looking at the player that we're comparing him to there's a lot of fans out here in Korea that bought tickets for the finals expecting to see Gen G, and now they're hoping and praying that they see DRX instead. This match will eliminate one of EMEA or Pacific, and so there's so much weight on these players to step up for their region, for their squads, for all of the hopes that they've set themselves for the year.
And DRX have already said that they are not letting that pressure affect them. They're not even thinking about the fact that they are the last remaining Pacific team, last remaining Korean team representing the hometown crowd. So it's one thing to say that and another thing to believe it, right? And I think that the pressure, especially each match that goes on for